we interrupt this program with a special report.
I got a message for all you folks out there in Radio Land. So sit tight and bend an ear.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Manga Monday show. The last one, well, actually, I don't know how to describe this. It's the first one of the year for you guys, but obviously it's not for us. So, Happy New Year, Ben.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
I don't know the actual lyrics of that song.
I don't know. I mean, we know the theme, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. It is the new year, technically. New beginnings. The end of, I don't want to call it the end of like season one until like I guess it's like the actual year anniversary of our podcast, but nonetheless 2023 is here.
Yes.
And I'm really excited for this year. Yeah. I know. I hate those people who like overhype, like, this is going to be my year. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Yeah. I'm going to work out. I'm like, let's just...
You know what I hate more?
Yeah.
I hate people who post about reviews of their year. Like, January, I did this awesome thing. You know, could you imagine, like, all these people who posting all this stuff, like all this great stuff that they did, and imagine if somebody had just an awful year and is looking at that and is like, you know, I didn't have too bad of a year, it was all right, but like just looking at that stuff is like, man, what are you doing?
Here's the thing, I'll do you one better. Yeah. I hate people who always say, and this is the majority because you always see it every year, like, I am so done with blank year, I'm ready for the next year. You always, everyone says the year that just happened was the worst. Can we just stop saying that? Even before 2020, people have been saying that.
Yeah, I know. I know everybody's been saying that, but let's be honest, 2022 not that bad compared to the last two. I will say, at least in my opinion.
But yeah, let's just be realistic. People have bad years, people have better years. As long as we're doing something progressive, it'll always end up better in one way or another.
Tis true. True.
But yeah, we got a lot to look forward to. But before we fully move on with the new year, we still have our Manga Monday Year Award Show.
Yes.
Yearly award show. It's not exactly going to be like, or it won't be the same as our 1 year anniversary, whatever we'll be doing for that, or it won't be the same as the Crunchyroll Awards.
It's going to happen in March or April, right?
And it won't be the same thing as our reaction and like talking about the Crunchyroll Awards.
Yeah.
With that, this will be our basically our own picks and our own like discussion about the year in anime and manga that came out this
year. It's just going to be a little bit more of like a conversation. It might become more of an award show later on.
We might just say like, hey, this is our favorite.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Well, what I want to do is we beforehand, or no, actually I want to beforehand we say the categories, and then on the show we say the categories, then we throw out nominations, and then we discuss on the winner. And if we can't decide,
do we both have to settle on which one?
No. If we don't settle on one thing, then we leave it to the audience.
Okay,
right. But if not, then it's fact. If we agree on it, it's fact. It's not even, you know.
And we'll go for the major stuff like best show, best episode.
Of course, we're gonna ask you guys everything, but we just want to, you know. We don't want to bombard our community tab feed. Yeah,
but our own picks per se, but nonetheless, that's gonna be really exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun.
But this year,
new beginnings. The Manga Monday show may be evolving very soon. We don't know if it's going to be next week, and we don't know if it's going to be the week after, but it is happening. And I'm gonna do a video just real quick explaining everything that's happening. It's very exciting, so if you're excited for it, stick around, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. I don't want to tell you what it is yet, but we'll get there. So yeah. Edgar, how's your holidays been? How's everything been going so far?
Good. Christmas, family came over, which is nice, and the same we'll be doing for New Year's Eve.
Good.
Counting down the clock, watching the ball drop. Other than that, We didn't really do gifts this year, but I'm really excited for school. I'm getting back into school full time.
Good.
And focusing on my classes.
Good.
I'm making a lot of corrections in my life, and I'm being like more productive, and I'm actually really excited for it. I'm getting really back into film, and I'm really excited. I've said this before, but like I realized how much I mean, I never, and it never went away. I've always been a film guy. I just never realized. I always told myself that I was so into it. I'm like, man, I wish. Like if I didn't do film, I feel like still at the end of the line, down the end of the line, I'd be like, man, I wish I could do something like with that, or I wish I can be involved in it somehow.
Yeah.
And that's me with a lot of things, but like film has a special place in my heart, and I'm full gear. I have a big project in the works. Probably a bit over ambitious, but I want to get it done. It's just like a lot of planning, and I'm being like really productive with that kind of stuff. Nothing's exactly happened. What about you, Ben? How are the holidays for you?
Good. I mean, I've just been drawing, just been hanging out. About to do voice recordings, and then other than that, I'm being a little bit soft on my voice today, guys, just to be prepared for that. Other than that, no.
You did show me a video that one of the scenes that you recorded in for an anime. For the anime that you're in, Shinobi Itoki or something?
Shinobi no Itoki.
Yeah, there you go. You didn't record with him, but the scene that you're in interacts with the character.
Even talk about this.
Yeah, you interact with a character that's voiced by Eric Vale.
Yeah.
Super big, popular anime voice actor.
And I mean, I was about to say if you didn't know, but you probably didn't know because I've never said it on the Manga Monday show. Eric Vale is the reason why I'm in voiceover. Trunks was, when I watched Dragon Ball, Trunks to me was always the guy. Like, you look at Goku and you look at Vegeta and you're like, oh, there's no way I'm anything like that. But then you look at Trunks and I was like, oh. And I feel like that's why a lot of people connected with Gohan, like as a young kid, because they were like, oh, you know, Gohan's a little kid and he beat the final boss. You know, that's why a lot of people connected with him. But the person who I connected with was Trunks. And I thought everything was cool about him, from his voice to, you know, his swords, to his hair, to his Super Saiyan transformation. I've always thought his hair and the way his design looks has always been the coolest. And the way he's from the future, I always thought was so awesome. And Eric Vale, who obviously voiced Trunks.
Not the kid version, though, right?
No. He's not the kid version.
Yeah.
That's another, I think a woman plays
I know that
version. Yeah. So no, not the kid version, but and he's been great in everything that I've seen him in. But I watched I think it was a long time ago, I watched some bloopers of his or something, and then I just went down this rabbit hole of his interviews and some of his bloopers, and he talked about being a voice actor and how much he enjoys it and how much fun he has. And then I watched him as Shigaraki and in My Hero and all that stuff, and I was just like, man, I am smitten by this man, and he made me want to follow the dream of being a voiceover artist. So it was a big moment for me because I forgot he played the role. Like when I was recording it, I was just recording it. I didn't even click in my mind that Eric Vale was playing.
Obviously, y'all weren't in the same room.
know?
You did his thing.
No.
And at some point, he did his own thing.
Anime voiceover, you're never in the same room.
Yeah.
No. It's all done separately, which was why it's
Japanese, they do it differently. Sometimes they do it together.
Yeah, Japanese, obviously, because I think they animate around the voice flaps. For them. Occasionally, sometimes they don't, but because you can see sometimes the Japanese don't really care about matching the voice to the lip flaps.
Yeah.
And it makes dub people get really angry because that's all we do.
It's a shame that dub people don't have that
luxury.
Don't have the luxury of interacting with the actors that they're acting with.
It sucks because like we've seen stuff like Cyberpunk where they have, you know, where like the lip flaps. I think the lip flaps actually change depending on which version you choose.
Oh really?
I don't know if that's true. That might be false, but I think it was English who recorded it first. But yeah, it sucks. Hopefully eventually, you know, we'll get to a point where we can be able to do that and lip flaps can be changed. Because I thought that's just what they did. I thought that they had animators worked for Funimation who went in and changed the flaps, but they don't. No, and I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah,
because it's which is why good dub performances you need to take with even more appreciation than you do already, because they are legit making, they're making diamonds out of this immense pressure, which is pretty crazy. So they're doing a great job. Yeah. But yeah, that was a great moment.
Really cool.
I might send something to Edgar. If I do, here's a clip.
It isn't too late. I'm asking you to stop this at once.
I knew you couldn't understand my reasons.
But if I didn't, then now we're just sitting here in awkward silence. But
it's like a Family Guy moment. Hey, remember this?
Yeah.
We just sit here in silence while it's happening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, you mean just the audio clip?
Yeah,
or
I could send you an audio clip.
Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, man, what's the dream? You have dream roles, but like, and most likely you won't interact with them face to face or act with them like face to face in the same scene. But who's an actor that like, dude, if I'm in a scene with that with that actor or like with that character, that'll be like
with that character,
not character. That's more difficult. That's more specific. But what's an actor like? Like if I act a scene with them, or like if I act in a scene and they happen to be in that scene, I'd lose my marbles.
I think I would lose my marbles if I was able to act with like one of my friends on an anime scene. Like I have some really good friends who've become really big voice actors, like Celeste Perez, and she voices the green-haired girl in Horimiya, and then I'm also friends with Marissa Duran, who voices Horimiya and Horimiya. I mean Hori and Horimiya, or I don't remember.
I know. Hori is the girl, and then Miumida or Muti something.
Muti,
like because the name is like the anime show name.
It's the ship. It's the ship name.
This is funny.
But yeah, and they've become great big voice actors. So I think it would be cool to be able to do a scene with them.
Yeah.
One of my very, very close friends, she just got a lead role in a show called Beast Tamers, I think, maybe. I don't know. I forgot the name of it, but
I haven't heard of it.
But yeah, and she's always like, "Oh my God, what if we're in an anime together?" And I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that'll ever happen. But
hey, man, who knows?
We'll see. I think that would be very cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know. Chris Sabat, I think would be.
Yeah, that's a given.
But,
yeah, that's really cool.
But if you asked me 4 weeks ago, I would say Eric Vale.
Yeah.
But now that's been kind of checked, and it wasn't a scene where I had like one line with him. Like I had a full blown conversation.
Yeah, that was
with
cool.
him. Like it was just me and him.
And you improved a lot. Yeah. Like you said, you said you got this in one take. And and you've like, and not that you were bad, but like I told you clearly got the anime voice down to where it's like, if you weren't cringe before, but like it's really hard to do that kind of voice without sounding cringy, and you nailed it. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's a lot with anime dubbing. Is it's like I was able to do it in one take, but we did go back and kind of get different variations of the line. But for the most part, like I was genuinely impressed at how much I've grown with the timing of it, because. And there should be a day where we just talk about my experiences with dubbing and all that junk. But that might be more important when I have bigger roles.
So we can get a variation of like what we.
Of course. But like when you go into dub, right? You listen to the Japanese version.
Yeah.
Right. And then you hear this beep, and it goes beep, 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 and that's when you have to start speaking.
Yeah.
But there's no beep to the end. So when you watch it, you have to watch for 3 things, right? You have to obviously watch the lines, because if you don't know the lines, you're not saying it right. Mm-hmm. You have to watch the clock to see where their lip flaps end.
Yeah.
And then you also have to watch the show for their lip flaps.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to keep in mind the time where the lip flaps end and your lines. So that's why I'm very lucky that I'm very quick at learning lines. So the first thing I do is I learn the lines really, really quick. So like while they're preparing, I'm like learning the lines like bam, 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 bam. It's going to be, if I ever get a lead role, that's going to be really difficult for me, because I can't memorize all that stuff like very fast. But as of right now, I've only had like scene increments.
Yeah, the whole ADR thing sounds like really complex, but I'm really interested in to see how that works. It like props up all the people who work behind the scenes in doing that. I thought it was just like in my brain. I don't know. I would like to know exactly how it works. Do they send? How do they have to like replace the like the audio, the dialogue themselves, or does like the Japanese however they send over like the audio, like here's the anime without the voices, or like you take care of that, you have to do that yourself. I wonder how they do that.
They take out. So what they do is they add the sound effects, right? And then they take out, and then they add the voices to it. So Crunchyroll just has these raw files of the anime.
Okay, so they do send them over without the dialogue.
Yeah, without dialogue
that
at
makes
all,
sense.
and with sound effects.
Okay.
So like I'm watching the scene, and it's very impressive because it's very impressive too, because what they do is sometimes when you're acting in a scene, and it depends on the director. Like when I was working with Jeremy Jewell, who voices Hyoga and Dr. Stone, when you're acting on there, you hear the other dub actors, right?
Yeah.
So they just add it onto the episode. Other directors, they don't add anything to it, so it's just you acting by yourself. Yeah. But then when I worked on One Piece, I was acting with the sub actors. So it was 3 different ways. It was crazy. It was crazy because in One Piece, I acted with Frankie's actor, and he was like,
I can see the first 2, but Frankie, I don't know what funny. I don't know what the third does. I guess they just like want you to act, but they don't want to. Maybe they didn't have that part dubbed yet.
No, they don't have that part. They do all the side and minor characters.
Yeah, so I figured,
all the side and minor characters like months before they do, which is correct. One Piece is like, so there's Crunchyroll and all the other animes, and then there's One Piece, and it's like its own company, dude. That like they have its own division.
So
over
big
at
and so large,
dubbing.
and a lot of
there's
episodes.
so many characters.
They just started Wano, right? The dub.
They just started Wano, yes. Yeah. And Wano is like getting close to the end and the sub. So right now, One Piece anime is probably in 2019, 2018. So we just graduated.
God, imagine
in dub time. We just graduated high school. So.
2017.
Yeah, 2017. We just like a year before we just graduated. 2018.
We graduated in 2017.
Yeah, we graduated in 2017.
But you said 2019.
No. I said it's 2018 where they are at. So
okay.
We just,
You said 2019. I'm like, what?
No.
Oh yeah, yeah, but wow.
It's a lot to go into it.
It could be if I was an anime watcher. I mean, I wouldn't for One Piece, but if I was a One Piece anime watcher, couldn't be me. Like I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. Like the sub was 2 episodes ahead of My Hero, and I couldn't find the dub, and I was like, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm sorry, but obviously I'd go back and listen to the dub because I
remember when it was simuldub in the 4th season, and then it stopped like after the Kirishima like battle, and they took like 2 weeks break, and then I didn't watch the dub after that. It's because the only way I watch the dub is through Blind Wave now. So yeah.
It's because sometimes like they take. I mean, this isn't anything to Crunchyroll, but there's some shows where I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. Y'all can do the symbol dub. Y'all got a lot of stuff on your hands. Okay. But then some shows I'm like, okay, but you're like dubbing all this, and like this anime is so far ahead.
Yeah.
How's the distribution is working? Obviously, I don't know anything. I don't know jack what's going on behind the scenes, but especially with Attack on Titan, I'm like, the biggest show of the year? Question mark. Why aren't we like? Why
is
like
you're losing?
You're losing like dub viewerships. Like
I guess it's because like Attack on Titan is so big that they want it to be the highest quality it can be.
I'm telling you. And same with Chainsaw Man. Yeah. I was expecting that symbol dub, like easy win, no duh, but like no. And I'm like, what? I'm like,
I just don't think they have the resources. Like I think Crunchyroll is building up to that point where they can release it all at the same time. I just don't think they have the capacity for that right now. I just don't think it's possible. They're doing so many shows. They're doing so many things.
Yeah. It just made me. It ticked me one time specifically because like around when Attack on Titan Part 2 was airing, they released an entire like dub, like 12 episodes the week of while like
Yeah.
it aired like the first day. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. What about what about one episode of Attack on Titan right now, please?
Yeah.
But that's just me being like picky.
Because Funimation used to announce like, oh, we're doing this week and this week and this one this week, and you were like,
yeah, that was
where's Attack on Titan?
Yeah, that's yeah.
Because I think they were like 5 or 4 weeks behind at one point. Oh,
and My Hero, once they started doing that as well, I'm like, what? Like even My Hero, I'm like, yeah, but it is what it is. And
hey man, at least you're not a Dragon Ball fan. Dragon Ball Super, we had to wait like 2 or 3 months for the dub to be finished. Awful. Like the dub, like if and when Dragon Ball Super returns, the dub has arguably become bigger than the sub, and it needs in America at least. In English, I would say in English speaking areas.
It's like the equivalent of Japanese theater release dates and American and Western release dates.
Yeah.
It's like 6 months behind. I'm like, why? Like it's already out there. You also be able to hopefully get it as soon as possible.
Dragon Ball Super Superhero has like one of the biggest returns from like cost of making to cost of income.
You mean in profit? Like
in profit, like
in
profits, like of any movie.
Was it that cheap to make? I guess a 3D really saved the money or something.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a crazy experience, and there will be an episode where we go in depth about that. But I don't want to. I don't want to really talk about too much about the dubbing experience because I've only played one named character, and I don't have too much experience to
hey
talk
it's
about,
a lot for me at least. I enjoy hearing your talks and like your experience. I never thought, I always knew you were gonna do something in your life, and once you said I wanted to do this, I'm like, I know you can do that. But even then, we're like anime fans, like first and foremost. So like we're like us like gawking on the screen, and then like once you start getting in there, I was like, am I dreaming? like what is this? So like I'm always
for Edgar. I don't know if Edgar's gonna be like, especially if I don't. Maybe if I change my voice for one scene. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be hard for you to watch. I've gotten used to hearing my own voice on the screen.
I like hearing you. I like hearing your voice.
Okay.
It's just gonna be like surreal.
I definitely did better this last time, though.
Yeah. It's not like I can't listen or something. Like that's my voice. I can barely listen to my voice.
Yeah.
If I'm in like the #1 movie in the year, I'm not gonna watch it. Still.
Yeah. No,
I'm still not gonna.
Movies is where I don't watch. I think that's.
But if you're in an anime film, I'm watching. Like I'm buying tickets. We're gonna suit up.
Dude,
we're gonna make a red carpet. And people are like, what are these idiots doing?
What are these guys doing?
And we're just gonna watch it.
That sounds great.
But I'm always excited for that, and I love hearing you talk about that kind of stuff. And I'm sure, and I hope you guys enjoy that too, because how often do you get to hear a personal growth experience with anime dubbing?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything like that. At least I don't know anything like that. So it'd be really, this is like a time capsule of, your career of some sorts.
Really the only like dub voice actor who I know who has a podcast is VA what's his name in from Trash Taste? He's a
Connor?
Connor. He's a dub actor.
Yeah, he's an actor, yeah.
Yeah.
He's in a few animes. But I guess like and I'm pretty sure in older YouTube videos he's talked about it. So those YouTube videos, if he has any, talked about it. I guess I mean like from like day one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this will be like a real like progression. Like, you want to check out like briefly when we talk about it, it started here.
Yeah, just so you guys know, the moment when we started this podcast, the only thing I'd done with Crunchyroll was Walla. That entire summer was when I began working with Crunchyroll, and then only a couple weeks ago did I get my first named role. So like, this like 2022 was a big year for a couple of big steps, but it's a progression, for me at least. Yeah. I know a lot of people who just jump in and get a lead role their first time, but I mean, like, it's a progression for me, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
really cool. This isn't really happening to me, but something interesting happened.
Sure.
My brother is in Japan right now.
Hey.
He's studying abroad. He's like 3 weeks in Japan, and he was like FaceTiming us and saying, "Hey, look, it's daylight outside."
Konnichiwa.
No, yeah, really. And he's like, and he was like saying, "It's so weird, like walking in public, and there's like only Japanese people. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's what happens.
And they're all wearing masks, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Some places require him to wear masks.
To wear masks.
But yeah, he's like eating the real food. You know what I mean? He was eating tenton, and it was like ginormous shrimp.
So jealous. Oh
and it's for like dirt cheap too. Like $5 cheap for like whole meals. And he is like he's having like the time of his life. He was you know, like a cat cafe.
Yeah.
He was in an otter cafe.
An
otter cafe. I know. And
we need to, Edgar. We need to start saving it.
I know,
because the thing with me and Edgar is we would have gone already and saved up for it. The issue with me and Edgar is that, first of all, we want to learn some of the language before we go.
Yeah.
And secondly, like when we go, it's not just for vacation. We're also going to kind of scout out if we want to live there.
Yeah,
you
I would
know?
like to go, and there was a few setbacks for me personally.
Yeah.
And being able to do that now, and maybe still during my school time and catch up, I'll be able to do it in between
definitely.
then. But I would like to ideally be done with that, or have a foothold in my life and say, I'm ready to, like, you know, do that. Yeah. Obviously, save money will be the number one thing to do. The most expensive thing is the plane tickets. Because everything over there is super cheap, and like ridiculously cheap. Because that's what he tells me. But he's having the time of life. I think next weekend.
What city is he at?
Kyoto.
So
next weekend he told me he'll be able to go to Tokyo. He'll take the bullet train there.
He's go to Roppongi for me, please.
He's gonna try to he's gonna try to go to USJ, like the Universal Studios Japan, and go to like the Mario World and all that, and all the stuff there. I think they took away the Demon Slayer ride.
Yeah, they did. I think it was because it was malfunctioning.
Yeah. The demons were a bit too real.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
your head actually gets chopped off in the ride.
I was telling him, I'm like, you should do this, you should do that, or like go to like the Your Name stairs. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of the Your Name, like Makoto Shinkai's
he's
films,
probably like, nah.
He said like, I want to wait for like you. I want to experience that with you.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, that's nice. So I was like,
yeah, I want to go to Japan and see all that stuff. Like I also want to find because in the first Jujutsu Kaisen opening, it's places in Tokyo that I want to go.
I told him to go to Shibuya. Not only is it like he's not there.
It's places in Shibuya.
Yeah. Not just Jujutsu Kaisen, but like I think Shibuya is the busiest cross section in the world.
Yeah,
like is the crosswalk section in the world, which is crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
But obviously he's probably gonna go to Akihabara, which is like Anime Central.
Yeah. When we go, Edgar, it has to be a dedicated podcast where we plan everything out.
Yeah, we'll probably do a live stream walking around.
Dude, that'd be great.
We'll probably do either a video, like
I'm saying we need to do a podcast where we're planning where we want to go and doing everything.
Oh,
I think that'd be so much fun.
It's like 5 hours and like we're arguing, like no. It's this and this.
Only places I want to go. I definitely want to go. And it depends how long we're staying. If we're staying like only 2 weeks,
I feel like it's
a
good idea for our first trip to not do everything because once we I want to go multiple times.
Of course.
And if we do live there, then we'll have plenty of time to do everything.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
So like our first trip,
dude,
will
if
obviously
we live there every weekend, we're going on an adventure. I don't care. We're going on an adventure every weekend. But yeah.
Edgar, get up. I'm like, we just did that. I don't care.
Get your but obviously I want to see Fuji-sama, Mount Fuji. That's a big thing of mine, and I want to there's these pictures.
I'd like to climb or get near it. Like, you know what I mean?
I'll climb Fuji with you. Yeah. As long as we work out before, like we gotta work out our calves, and all that stuff.
I love hiking. God, I love nature. I love hiking. Yeah. So like all the nature spots, I'm down for.
It's gonna be brilliant. Yeah.
Skiing in Hokkaido.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
I want to walk. This might be because I can't go to Japan without Lauren. She would hate me. So I would take her along. I want to walk with her down. There's this famous crosswalk with cherry blossom trees, and I want to walk down because obviously we're going in spring, right?
Honey, what if we kissed where quintessential quintuplets
and the quintessential
or like, you know what I mean? And then something like that.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know if this is for the first time, but definitely the second time or when we live there, I definitely want to go to Tsushima, just because it's still, even though Ghost of Tsushima was one of the biggest games to come out in recent years, it's still not like a tourist heavy spot, because it's pretty.
I wonder how the Japanese feel about that game.
They love it.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like Tsushima, the island of Tsushima, like they have their own museum about it, and
Nice.
the people of Tsushima, they invite people around. There was also an anime apparently about the battle between the Mongols and the battle. It was kind of more of a massacre, but because it was like 10,000 Mongols versus like 200 samurai, which is unfair.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a massacre. Because Ghost of Tsushima is historical fiction and heavy emphasis on fiction. Jinsekai did not exist, But the Mongols did invade, and I do want to go to Komoda Beach. And because standing there and realizing you're looking at where history was, and imagine this, like you're standing out on the beach, right?
If I go to a beach anywhere in Japan or at a beach in general with you, I'm gonna do the Aaron meme, like him pointing out.
But it's like imagine standing on that beach like hundreds of years ago. You're a samurai, only like 200 of you, looking out and seeing like 5,000 ships.
Dude, that's me with
10,000 Mongols.
That's me with anything historical or anything like where a movie was filmed.
Yeah.
Like, God, dude, like I would love anywhere in Europe. There's like a lot of places like that. But like for me, like a really cool moment was like I watched this movie called Boyhood, and while I was in San Marcos, there was a spot where it filmed, and Boyhood was on Netflix. So I was like looking at the scene. I'm like, I'm standing right where that shot was filmed, and that alone like geeked me out. Like so, like historical places like that, like God, dude, like I really love that stuff.
And Ghost of Tsushima is going to be so great for camping, and they have such great sites.
We're going to do role playing, and I'm going to chop you up with the katana.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'll be a Mongol. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be
totally
the
won't be disrespectful at all.
Yeah.
Me playing a Mongol. But yeah, I think, and I'm going to play the Ghost of Tsushima theme there. Oh, it's going to be great. But that's
God. It's going to be like.
Yeah. And I definitely want to go to. Hiroshima and
Nagasaki
and pay our respects, because what we did was awful, and was unnecessary.
I still like to go just for curiosity.
I thought you were gonna say I still think it was necessary. I still
no.
I still think we needed to do it.
Oh no, two dubs. You know what I mean? No.
Two dubs.
No. But I'm just interested in that in that piece of history. Any history that deals with tragedy, and it fascinates me. And I would like to respectfully go, if you're allowed to, in the Suicide Force. I am one for.
You might have to go.
No, I know. You don't want to go?
I don't. I'm not stepping foot in there.
You don't like it?
No, it terrifies me. I don't want to.
Yeah, I would not give it the Logan Paul treatment. Obviously,
I would go at the. I would. The forest is right here. I would go with you at the entrance, and I'd go, okay, Edgar, I'll meet you at the end, and then I'd walk around.
I also have a huge. I was about to say kink, not a kink.
Okay.
I have a huge thing for paranormal locations. I don't know why. I love abandoned places, and I love like. God, I remember looking up an abandoned Disneyland place in Beijing, China that looked creepy as hell, and I was like, I want to go there. So when I was also like listing a list down of like places I wanted to go, like the catacombs in France, but like the abandoned ones where you can't really enter in. So like I gotta go in there. I gotta know what it looks like in there. And like the Suicide Force in Japan, like I gotta go at night. I gotta go in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna drag Ben along with me. It's gonna be so great. So I love that. But I probably have to like drug Ben to like come in with me. Where am I? I guess where we are. And then you like run away.
Oh boy.
A lot of places in Japan that I really like to visit.
Yeah. There are a lot.
It's listless.
Haikyuu Town.
That's more of a youth thing. I'd be like, okay, we're just like in.
Oh, dude, I'd love to.
The kids would be in school. Like, what are those two guys looking at?
We can remake the remake the panels, like, because he sat there and he drew the panels, and we can remake it.
I'll be like the boyfriend, take a picture. I'm like, okay.
I'm gonna be like, look at me, volleyball. I don't know if we're gonna be allowed to go on the school premises. I don't think.
Yeah.
Because I know some people took pictures there, but I'm a little bit like, do I really want to get arrested?
It's like the Walter's house Breaking Bad treatment, like in real life.
No, exactly.
God, that lady's insufferable. I get it. People visit like that place a lot, but she's always like outside that Breaking Bad house, like shooing people away, calling the cops like over and over again. I'm like, can you just like?
That's why I didn't go to it when I went to New Mexico. Yeah,
just move. Like if you hate it that much,
go into my Instagram, steg.stagram, and you'll be able to see. You'll be able to see some pictures that I recreated from the.
You went in front of Boyos Hermanos, right?
Yeah, Boyos Hermanos.
And Hank's house?
No, the place where Tuco was operating. Where
the place where Walt exploded?
Where Walt said, but this isn't meth. And yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And then Los Boyos Hermanos. Yeah, that's the one I went to. And but it's just a regular chicken store now.
Still, really cool.
Yeah, and they have memorabilia there. I remember we went in and it was locked, and we were all like, and then the manager came out and he said, do you guys want to check out in here? And I was like, heck yeah. And he was really nice. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I would also, now that the statues are there, I'd like to see the statues of Walt and Jesse.
Oh,
isn't it weird that your town's like most famous, known for two fictional meth heads? Or meth makers,
Yeah. I also went to the dam. There's that scene where Walter is like sitting by the dam and stuff. But they recorded almost always in the winter. So it was never going on like that.
Isn't the reason why they shot it there in the first place specifically was because it was cheaper or something like that?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I don't know where they wanted to shoot it elsewhere. It still had to be like in the south.
It's the perfect location though.
Yeah.
Like it's just perfect. Like I don't know how they found the perfect cast, the perfect location, and the perfect scenarios, but they did it. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's literally brilliant. But yeah. All right, Edgar, let's jump on into the news.
Yeah.
Let's touch on the big stories because we rambled on a little bit long today.
No, it's okay. Have fun when we ramble on.
Yeah, me too. Go ahead.
I don't have it up on me.
So
you go first.
Remember that first manga that we ever reviewed, or not reviewed, but the first ever request that we got for a manga review?
Eden Zero, right?
Yes, and Hiro Mashima's manga is coming to an end.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which, to be honest, like, I haven't read any of it since, but I'm super excited to read it. I loved the first volume. God, I loved it. I had so much fun with it. And a lot of people were like you were explaining it to me that all the characters are literally the same from Fairy Tail, and I think that's hilarious. Like, I'm legit like, he couldn't be asked to create new character designs. And the cat is literally named the same name
and voiced by the same
by the same actor. Yeah. And I just love it. I'm genuinely like, what a genius idea, you know. But from what I've read, I think I like Eden Zero a lot, and I don't know if Fairy Tail is going to quite.
I think Fairy Tail's better in the consensus to what I've seen based on reviews and comments.
Sure.
But they're two different genres, so maybe fantasy version of that won't hit as different with you.
It also might be the sense that Eden Zero is the thing that I read first. So you know, and
so
then,
so. Yeah, if they are the same, then maybe Fairy Tail will be like, oh, it's just the same thing again, but like opposite. You know what I mean? Yeah. Since you experienced Eden Zero first,
Eden Zero,
and then war breaks out, and people start going after
people
you.
Go crazy. Yeah.
What else do I got? I didn't think I saved any news between last week, but I did see that Japanese fans have officially named Lycra's Recoil as the top TV anime for 2022. Really cool, really good anime. I personally don't think it's best of the year, but it's really good, and I feel like
see it.
You should check it out.
Gotta check it out.
I mean, it's not like you have to check it out, but you should check it out if you have time. Or you should just mark it down on your list whenever. Okay. If there's ever another pandemic 2020 year, you're like, all right, time to blow through half of my anime list.
Yeah,
like I did.
Yeah, totally.
But let me give you the list of what they listed as top 10. I guess a Japanese poll on a website that they took. Number 1, Lycra's Recoil. Number 2, Boichi the Rock. It's getting really popularity. Another underrated one that I hear is really funny and well animated.
Okay.
Dropkick on My Devil. I don't know what that is. 4, Chainsaw Man. 5, Spy Family. I thought that would be more in the higher ups.
Yeah.
But it's still on here. 6, Blue Lock. My Hero Academia, Season 6. Mob Psycho 100. My Dress Up Darling. And Summertime Rendering. I wanted to watch Summertime Rendering. I've heard good things, but it is not available anywhere in the West. It's only in Japan. So, but obviously you can probably pirate that, but I'm just going to wait until the official release happens.
Yeah.
That's their list. If you want to hear our list, check out when that happens, whenever we do our 2022 anime manga award show.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll hear what Crunchyroll has to say about their list, and we'll be reacting to that, making our picks. But yeah, that's all I got. I didn't save any news. I feel really bad.
No, you're good.
I guess not
you're
a lot
good.
just
It wasn't
happened.
a lot didn't happen this week. A lot of it was just kind of recaps of the year. Speaking of recaps, Edgar, do you want to hear the top 10 grossing domestic films in Japan of 2022?
Yeah,
anime. One Piece Film Red tops it with $141 million.
As number one?
As number one, yeah.
Okay.
Jujutsu Zero, which came out this year. Jeez.
That felt like forever ago.
Yeah, it legit felt like forever ago. $104 million. I think Jujutsu still has it as still is above One Piece Film Red for top grossing because of the American release was so successful.
But it's only counting Japanese, right?
Yeah, it's only counting Japanese. Suzumi no Tojimari is number 3, which is just so damn impressive because it
just started
came out.
yeah,
It
in
just
December.
came out.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to be in the top 10 before we know it.
Yeah.
It's at 75.4 million. Detective Conan, The Bride of Halloween. They love the Detective Conan over there.
Yeah.
Kingdom 2. I don't know what this is.
That's a historical fiction manga series. Really cool.
Shin Ultraman. I have heard of that.
Yeah.
99.9 kg Shenmon Bengoshi, the movie.
I thought that was related to Mob Psycho.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. Yome Tennen with 22. All of these made around 22, 21. Chinmoku no Parade and Confidence Man JP. So yeah,
Opposite of me, man. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and just in comparison, almost all of the top 3 topped last year's biggest film, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0.
Wow.
So yeah, it was an impressive year for anime films. Not quite as impressive as 2 years ago with Demon Slayer, and I think there was another big movie that came out that year. Dragon Ball Super.
Wow, Dragon Ball Superhero didn't make the list.
Oh yeah, it didn't make it in it's because nobody cares about Gohan in Japan.
Unfortunately.
I'm legit being serious. Like nobody cares about Gohan.
Everyone in the West is, cares
Everybody
about
loves Gohan in the West.
And I feel like Makoto Shinkai's film, I feel like everyone loves outside of Japan too, so that will boost that up as well.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that we know Dragon Ball Superhero was a success, but it was really the West who carried this one.
Yeah.
But yeah. One Punch Man anime Twitter account warns of misinformation.
Okay.
And that makes me think
Well,
that
all
it's
we've been
not,
getting is leaks.
That makes me think it's not MAPPA. I'm beginning to start to believe that it's not MAPPA.
I hope it's Bones.
Yeah. I
want it to be Bones.
I want it to be Bones as well.
But if it's not Bones, what I saw this conversation on Twitter. Obviously, this isn't how anime studios work. When they drop an anime, that studio picks up another one like that. It doesn't always work like that. But ballpark, Bones has, let's say they have now a space, an opportunity to pick up a new series, and it isn't One Punch Man. What is a series you'd like them to pick up that you know of that hasn't been adapted?
Bones?
Or would you like them to because there's 2 big series that they could readapt some series that people want them. Soul Eater is a big one.
They should do Soul
God,
Eater.
I would love them to do Soul Eater again.
They should do Soul Eater.
Because they originally did it, and then the manga wasn't catching up, and then
Does Bones do Fire Force?
No, David Production does, so they're already working on that. They got that covered.
Okay.
So, but if Bones never picks it up, I would just like David Productions to pick up Soul Eater, if that ever happens.
Do you think that Bones and David Productions are going to mix and do
I don't know. That's
Soul Eater?
I've never seen that happen before. That'd be really interesting.
What do you think? Was Soul Eater better? Was Bones with Soul Eater better animated than David Productions with Fire Force?
Yes. Well, in the sense that they got it That is a good question.
Yeah.
Bones nailed it because God, some of the animation was perfect in that.
But you gotta take some points away that they didn't adapt the manga. At the end.
Big
That's gotta
points.
be
I'm
some
really
big points
disappointed.
away.
The dub, I give huge props to. I love the dub for Soul Eater.
Yeah.
But the animation, I think they got it right. They got it all right. David Productions just has like the up in terms of animation quality, and the pacing is a bit different from like the manga in Fire Force.
Yeah.
So they got. I mean, they're two different. Like one's more shonen-y, and then Soul Eater. Bones is perfect for that kind of stuff. So it's tough to say.
I think we don't know who's doing Kaiju number 8, right?
No, we do. Production IG.
Oh, it is Production IG. You're right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're right.
Or
You're
someone else.
absolutely
I
right.
knew they were confirmed to be with someone else.
No, it is Production.
I saw
IG.
someone also mentioned what Bones could also do.
My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Get it done.
Yeah, that'd
Get
be
it
interesting.
done.
Yeah.
I would love a Vigilantes anime.
Yeah, they'd coincide. They'd be like
I don't think it's gonna happen until the mainline series is over.
Okay.
I think it's going to be My Hero Academia, and then My Hero Academia Vigilantes is just going to stave us off until that eventual sequel comes out. Because let's be honest, Horikoshi, the money talks, and they're gonna say, "Hey, like, you know how Deku's like the cover of every Shonen Jump?
Yeah.
How about you continue doing that, but him as an actual hero, And that, I mean, I could see them do it, especially with the quirk doomsday theory still kind of looming large in the story. But it would be difficult to get that done. But Vigilantes is a good manga. It's not better than the original series. However, with how the final arc is going for My Hero Academia, the final arc for Vigilantes actually might be better than the final arc for My Hero Academia.
Well, you heard it first here, folks.
Yeah.
I haven't read My Hero Academia Vigilantes.
It's just a fun read. It's a fun read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to slowly. We'll see where I end up with My Hero because I'm starting to slowly fall out of love with the series.
I can tell you the first and second volume are like goated. Like I was pulled in, and then some very mediocre volumes, and then Aizawa's backstory is when it picks up again. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say Noragami was also the anime in question that Bones could pick up because they did Noragami. They faithfully adapted it. I mean, they added like a filler villain, but that was like really good fight, and I really like that. But they adapted it really well. Only did 2 seasons, and they just stopped, and they didn't continue. So there's an opportunity there for them to do that as well, Bones. But like I said, I don't know exactly how it works, but either way,
Don to Don
said they were gonna wasn't that gonna be picked up by somebody else, or am I crazy?
It's reportedly getting an anime adaptation.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about it.
I guess I haven't seen the style of the Don. You also got to keep in mind if it
Don
matches
the
the style.
Don.
Imagine Berserk getting adaptation by Bones.
By Bones.
And then the people would
Holy
riot.
God, that would not work. Holy God, that would not work. Yeah. I don't know. I think give up on Berserk for right now. I just don't think the animation is possible.
Probably forever until the series ends.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Give up
But
on
even then.
Give up on Vagabond as well. Like look at them. They look like people. Like they don't look like unless
How would a live action adaptation, not like a movie per se, or not even?
It's one of my dreams, Edgar, to direct a live action Vagabond series.
You know, Ben, I just had a funny feeling too, with something like getting back into film, and I know you're gonna roll the hell out of your eyes when I say this, but I
know what you're gonna say.
What is it?
I want to do an Attack on Titan live
No,
action.
no, worse.
Worse?
Yeah.
What?
Sword Art Online.
Oh no, that's not bad.
I don't know, but you'll know.
Just
what I mean.
do it better.
I know, that's what I'm saying. No, I know,
Just
right?
do it better than the anime.
See, like it's bad, like ill live adaptations. I don't know if I want to do a movie, and I don't want to do Netflix either.
People might hate you if you change the story. That's the issue.
See, that's what I'm
the
saying.
dilemma
But
that
there's
you
an
have.
opportunity. I know there's a lot of good stuff that I like.
Is there a different? What I'm saying is that a lot of these live action adaptations could be saved if you don't use the titular characters of the story.
Yeah.
Right? If you use like side characters. Like if they did a live action adaptation of My Hero Academia, but like with the Vigilantes one, I think that could work. You know, what I'm saying is that it's like make it so that it's like it can be in the world, but it's a side story,
Yeah.
right? It's not like a part of the because then you're trying to recreate characters that were originally created from a manga and anime, and then it just never works, you know.
But here's the thing: the special thing about Sword Art Online, it is a light novel first, and it's pretty grounded. Everyone is human. There's no ridiculous hair colors, and like it's a pretty tangible story to take in. But the characters are just like very blandly written. Enough to where I could do a little bit better than that. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, dream scenario, I would like to do that. But then again, I'm shooting like straight.
It's one of my dreams to do
Vagabond,
to direct, and it could happen eventually if I grow in the industry that I want to grow in. You know, in manga creation, in voiceover, it could be a possibility to pitch these things to higher up and get it done. But it's one of my dreams to do all the the 3 seinen, Vagabond, Vinland Saga, and Berserk.
Jesus.
And it's
involved
one
way or another.
Involved one way. I would love to direct, and I mean, like it would be one of my dreams to play Thorfinn in live action Vinland Saga, but I might be so old at that point I might have to play Ascalad, you know,
or balding what's his name, the Viking guy, the one
Thorkel?
Yeah, no.
Durgan?
No.
Oh, Leif Erikson.
Yeah, there you go, Leif Erikson. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if I'm
or
that
you can
old,
play, or you can play Bug-eyed Thorfinn.
Thorfinn, yeah, I could.
That'd be funny.
But
God, you could not play Thorkel, dude.
No, I could not. I could not.
You have to. Not even The Rock.
We're gonna have to get the guy who played the Mountain in Game of Thrones. I mean, he is Icelandic, so it would fit.
Okay, yeah.
But I would only find Icelandic, Danish actors to play. Yeah. So you could get speaking of Game of Thrones, you could get Jaime Lannister to play Askeladd because he's Danish.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, see, like, I mean, again, we're just talking. Easier said than done.
Of course.
And I'm pretty sure the people who've dealt with live action adaptations have started that way. And maybe things just get screwed up along the end.
I don't think they have.
You feel like they're just like incompetent of like making a good adaptation?
I just don't think they like the anime, or that's their first time watching it and they don't know. Right? Yeah. I just don't think they do. You know. But I would be a director on set, and I would be remaking the shots of the panels from the manga, and I would always have the manga volume on me and be like, okay, the camera's got to be right here, recreate that shot, you know. Yeah. Because to be honest, like, I kind of think basing out the shots, like, you have your storyboard right here, you know. Yeah. You just got to outline a coherent script. But yeah. Anyway, let's roll back on into the news.
Sorry about that.
So what we talked about earlier, and if you forgot, One Punch Man anime Twitter account warns of misinformation. So what we've heard is leaks and unofficial sources saying MAPPA has picked up One Punch Man, and they've basically come out and said, yeah, this is false. So they said the official Twitter account announced on One Punch Man in English and Japanese last Friday, warning fans about misinformation on social media. The English tweet reads, "This is the only official Twitter account for the anime One Punch Man. Please don't be misled by unofficial information from other accounts. Accurate information will be announced from this account when it is the time." So yeah, and this is basically in response to a self-described leaker who claimed in a viral tweet that MAPPA is going to produce the 3rd season. So that is false, and it makes me think that it won't be MAPPA. So yeah, it just makes...
I'm kind of glad though. I don't want it to be MAPPA.
I'm relieved.
I kind of don't want MAPPA to pick up any show for the next like 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah, because they have enough. They have so much already,
and we don't want the people to have a monopoly on the anime industry.
Yeah,
because this is kind of what's happening in Hollywood, right? Is that big entertainment industries have a monopoly on things, and it's not good for competition. And that's what we want. Is we want anime studios to compete for our love. That's how we get great stuff. Here's something interesting. There's an online petition to redo Chainsaw Man, and
I saw this.
2,000 signatures.
Look, I know, in my opinion, the Chainsaw Man anime is not a 10 out of 10, but this is dumb. Like, I do not. It is like as good as it can get to like a great adaptation of
Yeah.
Chainsaw Man, and the animation is great. I expected a lot worse in terms of CGI, albeit I would like less CGI, but I still really like it.
Yeah.
It kicks ass.
They went for something a little bit different. They played into Fujimoto's horror movie kind of physique. I kind of wish it was a little bit more chaotic,
grungier
right?
in terms of like the design.
Yeah, that's what I feel. And,
it looks kind of clean-ish.
Yeah, and sometimes, like you're talking about, sometimes in the like when you do 3D CG, it's hard to make it look really dirty, you know?
Yeah.
But I want it to be like the manga. I wanted like so much blood to be on screen.
Gritty, like bold, and
dirt,
like...
blood everywhere. And I just think they went for something different, and I enjoy it. I
like
personally
the
enjoy
frames
it,
and the pacing, ambience that you get.
Oh,
with
it's
it.
so good.
It feels like a film.
And
I really like that.
Yeah, and Fujimoto, he's a movie buff. He's a horror movie buff, but in reality, he's a movie buff.
So I really like the adaptation, but y'all idiots, like petitioning, like we can't petition for everything, guys, and that's not how petitions work. But
my only gripe, and I mean, we'll talk about this next week. What our favorite, or when we do the Manga Monday award show, what the best anime of the year is. But I think the only thing that's pulling Chainsaw Man back is that when I read the manga, like Denji was like, when he turned Chainsaw Man, he was like a psychopath, and like it was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it was, and when he gets the chainsaw on, it is, just this big fest of blood, guts, and gore, and he's like laughing like a maniacal. But they went.
I expected a lot of censorship, and I'm glad they didn't do that.
They didn't do that. No censorship. But I just wish it was a little bit more chaotic.
The dub is hilarious. Have you heard the dub?
Yes,
it's
the dub is
so
funny.
Great. I really love it.
Yes, the dub is really funny.
I'm glad they went that direction.
Whoever is writing it, great job. They're doing a great job. So there's a new anime. This is just really, really short. Called Pole Princess. It's a pole dancing anime.
Okay.
And it's gonna start with an episode 0 prologue.
Ben loves episode or chapter zeros or volume zeros or anything
it's
zero.
really weird, like how this is like a kink of mine. Like I'm just like, volume zero.
Not one,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
zero.
That's
Ben is gonna make his what do you call it? His alter ego 0. He's gonna copy 1. It's like not 1, 0. The mangaka. that's what you're gonna do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
like
meant.
That.
Yeah.
I like my aliases.
Alias.
Alias. There you go.
Yeah, alias.
My
I said
alias,
alter ego,
yeah.
but same thing, same diff. Like what I mean?
Yeah. I there's something with me and about like special volumes. Like come on, like why do you think the ones that I have like in my room right now, I have like on a pedestal Mob Psycho 100% Reagan, and the
Jujutsu Kaisen,
the maximum level 100, and then Jujutsu 0. Like those chapters for me, I just feel like when I get my hands on them, I just feel so powerful. Like it makes me feel like I have a special edition. And then also the special like Demon Slayer about Rengoku and whoever the
Kyo.
water Hashira is. I
Kyo.
forget. Yeah, Kyo. But yeah, it's just something about it just makes me go, ooh, I love it.
Yeah. But pole dancing, interesting. I mean, I guess they make an anime about every sport. Obviously, guys, it does not mean stripping. Pole dancing is an actual is an actual thing.
Yes, it's
but
not stripping.
No, God, no. That'd be hard sell.
Although,
So,
no, I'm just kidding.
maybe
I'm kidding,
no. But who knows? There's an anime about everything. So, but that's
There is.
interesting. Is that all you got in terms of news?
That
I don't have anything.
is everything.
Sorry to
unless
disappoint.
did we talk about last week? I guess you could say last year. Did we talk about how Hunter x Hunter is now going back on hiatus?
Yeah, we did talk about it, and we talked about how they are going to change their format.
Yeah.
In terms of like release, they said whenever they publish chapters, it'd be monthly.
Yeah.
Good move on them.
Good.
I hope they keep at that pace because I do not want any more like harm to comes to Takashi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let the man chill out. Come
Yeah.
on.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's what they've been doing for the past like 5 years, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. A lot of animes are going back on hiatus. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
But speaking of animes, I think it's time to do our first full review anime from the winter season of 2022.
Yes.
We'll be doing this with 2 other series that have just recently ended. And it's just going to be, we've been talking about a majority, a lot of
these animes count as the fall season? Didn't Mob?
It is fall. It is fall because winter's January.
Yeah.
In terms of anime seasons.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. My apologies. Fall anime seasons. The anime had they come out then. There's a lot of series that are still ongoing.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about here and there. Like our favorite episodes. We've been talking about My Hero and Chainsaw Man, obviously. But at the once like a series completes, we'd like to talk about like, oh, here's a full review on the series. But this one's really special because it's not only the end of the season, it's the end of the entire, series. The entire
we
show.
know of. There is still a possibility that thing right there could get could get an anime.
But in terms of like, in terms of like, the end of like the main show
of the storyline, yes, this is the end. This is the end. Yeah.
And we're talking about Mob Psycho in that regard.
Yes.
Mob Psycho 100, the 3rd season has officially concluded.
Yes.
Like a week and a half ago or 2 weeks if you're listening to this. And it's been quite a journey. Ben, you finished it first, and then I just had to recently catch up because.
Yeah. I mean, I knew how it ended. I read it a year ago.
Yeah.
Because when because when I started reading manga and started watching anime, I started with My Hero Academia, but I watched Mob Psycho, and it really pulled me in. Like the first 3 animes I watched, if I think I watched anything else, I don't think I would be the nerd that I am today. But My Hero, Mob Psycho, and then Haikyuu. And I was just absolutely blown away with the storytelling of Mob Psycho and everything. So I had to read it. And the manga, the end of the manga, you should read it. It's like it really puts into perspective how good of an artist one actually is.
Okay.
And like you can actually see his growth from the beginning of the series to the end of the series.
Guess I have to wait like 2.5 years once like because
the volumes come out for it.
The Mob Psycho volumes come out at such a slow pace, considering that it's already been released. All of it.
It's crazy because some of the storylines are like all jumbled for the anime.
It's 13 volumes, right, in total?
Yeah.
And I think we're on volume 10 now.
We're on volume 9.
9?
But 10 is going to come out soon.
Real soon?
Yeah. But 9, but actually in volume 7, where like all this season 2 stuff is happening, like that's the episode where Reagan like dresses up as a girl and from the first season.
You told me that.
Like, it's completely jumbled, like some of the stuff,
I guess some stuff just makes sense in the story to where that
to
where it happens.
Totally.
But I like the way the anime adapted it. Obviously, one style is not the standard mangaka expectations that you that you want from a manga. But he is a very special case because he writes on a godly level.
Yeah.
And a very subtle
arguably
level.
the best writer in all of manga and anime.
Arguably.
In terms of like
in
terms of destroying like preconceived notions about anime and manga. Like if you came up to anybody and you said, "Would you watch this anime where the guy always wins with just one punch?" You would go, "No, that sounds stupid. Like, how could you ever write a story off of that?" But he still does it.
Mm-hmm.
He is crazy. Yeah. He's insane. Like, imagine, like, he created a slice of life anime with the guise of shonen battles. It's so impressive.
Yeah.
But we'll get more into that later. Edgar, why don't we start off with the first 4 episodes, I think, of the season?
Yeah, the first arc, I guess, of this series.
Well, the first episode was different, right? The first episode didn't really have that.
Yeah, it didn't have an arc per se.
The first episode was like when like they went to that mangaka's house.
I completely forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they had to like exercise some spirit.
Yeah,
there.
the procrastination. Like
I thought it was just a guy being lazy, but it ended up turning out to be an actual problem.
Yeah, I actually think that was a self-insert by one, because afterwards he picks up Weekly Shonen Jump. So I was like, oh, maybe maybe he's like, I don't know, maybe he's like a mangaka and he's like talking about like trying to keep himself motivated and all that junk. I don't know.
I'm looking at the summary here just so I can get a good
go ahead.
take. Yeah, it's Mob that kind of freaks out for a bit, right?
Yes.
And then Serizawa has like some issues about his own stuff as well. Yeah, because they all kind of fall under a spell of some sort, and Reagan's the only one that's like not affected by it.
Yeah. Because he's a hard worker, you know.
Yeah.
Even though I watched this video on YouTube, and it's one of my favorite videos that I've watched in a while, and it talks about like the importance of fraud, and it talks about how Reagan's like lying is actually good sometimes, and it's like, dang. You know, I actually genuinely like this. But yeah, that first episode was good, right?
Yeah,
but that's,
good intro starter.
Yeah, just a good intro. But the main arc happens with, I don't even know what this arc is called.
I just call it either the Dimple arc or the Psycho Helmet arc or something like that.
Oh yeah, or the Psycho Helmet probably is the best one to do.
But the next episode is kind of also off to the side. It's about that hunter guy. It's called the
yokai hunter.
Yeah,
one.
yokai hunter. Yeah.
One of my the guy who directed me and gave me my first named role in Shinobi no Itoki. He voiced that yokai hunter, and I was.
It was really funny.
Yeah,
like, he was really good.
Yeah,
at that.
I was acting with him at the time when I was doing that Shakespeare show. If you go back like 8 weeks or 10 weeks, you'll hear me talking about it. I did Much Ado for Shakespeare Everywhere, and I come up to him before the show, and I was like, "Man, I've been watching this Mob Psycho dub for like 3 or 4 years, and you killed it, man. Like, it was like he fit in so well, and he fit in so well, I forgot it was him, and I went, who is that? Why did that one line sound like somebody familiar? And I went, oh my god, it's Sean. But yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
it was
really funny episode.
Yeah.
He was willing to pay like a buttload of money to Reagan. It's like, this is fake. Wait a minute. All right, I guess I'll help you out for a second.
Yeah.
And it was a really cool moment.
It's really good.
And then the next one, I believe, it's when Dimple starts acting a bit sus.
Yeah.
We get a bit of Tsubomi characterization. It's not really characterization because we don't see Tsubomi do anything other than Mob dreaming about her.
I actually like. I remember hating her when I read the manga, but this season I was like, I really like Tsubomi and her like characteristics.
She just came off wrong way. One, we don't get anything with her character, so there's nothing to redeem her with.
Yeah.
She we don't see if she's nice or anything, or we don't see if she has any like struggles. We just see her interact with Mob as a kid, and then her getting bored with him and leaving, and then her just being popular and everyone liking her, and you're like, oh, so she sucks.
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
like, she's one of those stuck-up popular girls that just, you know what I mean?
But no, she's great in this season, man. She is great.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if she is great, but they do humanize her a bit. Like, she kind of like, she has like some like snot on her nose, or her nose is running or something like that. What happened?
Oh yeah, I think
something happens, and she's in. I think Mob helps her out, like from the sidelines.
Yeah, he hands her like a napkin or something.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. He hands her a napkin.
Yeah, and then somebody it was the news reporter girl, and she was like, "Wow, Mob, you're getting really popular." And
that was this. Yeah.
And the chatification of Mob.
Yeah,
happened,
that was really
which
funny.
became a huge meme. And it was like, God, it was so funny because you could tell that they obviously, because he looks a little bit different in the manga, but in the anime, you could tell that they took inspiration from like the Chad meme and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was so funny. God, it was so funny.
Yeah, and at the end of this, I think Dimple has a conversation with Mob once they, because like at the same time of this like episode, they're talking about their careers. They recently talked about their career and what they want to do with like their lives, and I think Dimple takes that to heart, I believe, and he talks to Mob, and Dimple thinks to himself.
So Dimple says, "Why don't you go and do this? Like you can still be the head of the religion," and Mob is like, Dimple, just like get over it. Like he's like,
I don't want to do that.
He's like get over. Mob is kind of rude and saying like find a new hobby, find a new goal, which comes back later on when Mob says, "Oh, I've been ignoring your dreams. Like tell me what you really want." When I kind of get it, but also like his dream is like controlling a whole bunch of people, which is wrong, And
Dimple kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot why I was sticking along, and why I wanted to be who I was, and then Dimple wanders off on his own to the broccoli tree, and then things start going down. really creepily like makes like a mob persona clone copy. Really creepy.
Really weird.
And he kind of presents his powers to the psychohelmic religion, which is now gathering at this broccoli as a symbol of. Do they go there because they see him there and they're like, oh, this is like where he was or something like that?
No, I think that they're so everybody is like starting to get brainwashed, and that's why they all went there.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they didn't go there at first. Okay,
yeah.
I see what you mean.
Well, a lot of people are already there because they're like cutting the tree off and like selling like merchandise because it's become like if a huge broccoli like sprouted up in Dallas, that would become a giant like. Remember when that tower demolition got botched and then a leaning tower, like it became a leaning tower and then like for like a week, like this summer, and people called it the Leaning Tower of Dallas, and people like it became a little hot commodity. And you're like, what is wrong with you people? You know, so if a giant broccoli sprouted up in our city, it obviously would become a huge commodity.
Good point.
You know,
but Dimple takes advantage of this and he starts brainwashing these people and thinking that he is the Psycho Helmet leader. Because like this group was like kind of descended from they're the same people who Dimple took control of at
the smile
religion or whatever you want to call it. And they've been looking for a leader, and then Dimple like, all right, what if it's just like me? So he like makes like a very viney, tall, creepy mob looking puppet, and it's really creepy, and he demonstrates his power. And then mob was talking with the photographer girl, like, what if you just show up or something like that? And he's like, I don't know, I don't want to. And then like, yeah, you should show up or something like that. And he's like, okay, I might consider it or something, or like I might want to do something. That might be an easy way of getting popular and like officially doing something with my life. And we thought he would end up going, but he doesn't. I think his phone dies or something like that. And Reagan isn't able to reach him. And was he supposed to?
And I think the next day he starts walking around because he's like, oh, I just didn't want to go.
Yeah, I think he thought he had a date with a girl.
Yeah.
And then he like, hey, what happened? Were you supposed to meet up? And then she blows him off. He's like, I don't care.
Oh yeah, and she says like, yeah, I don't care. Like, you're obviously not the Psycho Helmet guy, so why would I care about you?
Yeah.
And then at first you're like, okay, that makes sense. But then everything else around you starts to become fishy as well. And then
everyone's handing out these candies.
Yeah,
like
and then Mob's brother, Ritsu, he's offered this candy, and then he starts eating it, and he like throws it up, you know.
Yeah.
Don't forget that Harizawa or what's his name?
Tengen? Not Tengen.
No, Hanazawa. God, Serizawa and Hanazawa. That is atrocious.
Who are you talking about?
Hanazawa is the guy, the blonde haired guy.
Teru.
Yeah, Teru.
Yeah, there you
go. But Teru, he took him shopping.
He is like, he's in this season, he's like, something's wrong, I feel it. He like immediately jumps to the situation. Go him.
But don't forget the day before he took Mob shopping.
Yeah.
For his date.
His god awful shirt that he bought for him.
And I want it so bad.
Oh,
I want that shirt so bad. Mob's wearing it at the end.
I know, but like in real life, if I saw a shirt, I would like,
oh dude, I want it so.
I would let you know.
I want it so bad. But yeah, I'm legit going to buy it after this.
This is an affront to fashion. Please do not wear this.
But it means something.
Oh, it does now, but like in real life.
In real life,
I mean?
obviously not. But yeah, and of course that plays a huge, huge part in the arc as a whole, which is just one's writing to the T, you know. But yeah, they and then of course Hanizawa's like, or Teru is like, okay, like something's not right, and he confronts Dimple, who is just extremely overpowered now.
Yeah, because he's been sapping off the energy from the people who've been praying and offering.
The broccoli.
The broccoli.
And it probably already has like such huge base power because of Mob's fight with the claw boss. That's how it sprouted at first.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then Mob eventually gets there. He has to fight Teru again. He fights Teru a lot in this season. Yeah, you know. So yeah, he fights Teru again, and I guess it's kind of a good dichotomy of because Teru was in control of this other kind of being, and then Mob was also in control of something else, and they kind of had to fight each other. I really like that. But then
he loses.
Yeah. Mob loses? Teru loses.
No, Teru loses.
Yeah, Teru loses. And then Mob has to like take down like
They-
hundreds of dimples.
They investigate. I mean, they first investigate the town, and then Reagan.
right, and
Reagan
Reagan,
joins
yeah.
along with them, and then people
Oh my
are-
god! And that hilarious running scene where they're like running away from
Yeah.
and he's like, oh.
He does like a Tom and Jerry type of scream. He's like, like it's like
so funny.
it's really good.
It's so funny, man.
Yeah, he's my favorite voice actor from the show.
Oh yes, the sub or dub.
Reagan, the dub.
The dub, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him a little bit later. I need to show you a video of him voicing the final scene. It's very funny. But yeah, I think his sub is brilliant. I watched most of the season in sub.
Oh, okay.
And then I watched the dub afterwards. That's normally how a lot of the shows that I watch now happen. I watch sub to get the initial, enjoyment, and then I watch dub for like my brain to go like, okay, this is how you dub it.
If it's available for me in dub first, I'm gonna give it a shot. The dub.
There are some dubs I completely wait for, like the Dr. Stone dub. Like I
Yeah.
completely wait for that.
Yeah, that I can't. I mean, but if the Japanese is available first, I'm just gonna watch that first.
Yeah, I watched the Japanese version, and I'm a little bit. I don't really know if Ryusui is like. I don't know if the voice for the dub completely matches the way that I thought he would sound.
Who's that?
Bakugo dub actor. I don't know. I just hear Bakugo.
I don't know. I like him. I like
Yeah.
him as.
I love the actor. I just don't know.
No, but I like
you
him
know.
as. I mean, I guess I haven't heard
Yeah.
much. I gotta look back on it, but I kind of vibe with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have a problem with it. I just was like when I listened to the sub, I went, "That's Ryusui." Like his like, ha ha, his like he's like.
I
his
wonder,
deeper voice.
but Clifford Chaplin, who voices Ryusui, Bakugo, is a voice actor,
Yeah.
directs the dub. So I wonder if it's a matter of, and it was in a particular troubling time because
Because of Senku's.
Yeah,
dub
he
actor,
just
Aaron
came back
Aaron
on.
Dismuke. Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Dismuke just came back on. He recovered from his absence because of his
Yeah.
voice. So maybe there was something along the lines of they couldn't find anyone,
Yeah.
and it was a
Yeah.
1 hour special. And it was like a time thing only. And
Yeah.
I think everyone was able to come back on. But again,
No, everybody was there.
I wonder if
yeah.
something happened. Maybe he was like, I'm the best. I mean, it's such a weird position.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm the best fit for the role, or I just
Yeah.
want to be in it, or
I
something
don't
like
know.
that. Or maybe
I think it might have been just I want to be in it, which fair enough. If you're directing a dub and you have a good assistant director and you're like, I just want to be in it, because
Yeah.
honestly, I think the best dub I've ever watched is probably the Dr. Stone dub. I just think it's so brilliant. From top to bottom, the cast is amazing. Just even the side characters, like the fact that they were able to get who plays Krillin? Sonny Strait as like a small side character, like the side.
Oh, he plays the ugly monkey face guy.
Yeah, the sidekick of what's his face of Magma. Like that's
Yeah.
just crazy. Like it's a stacked cast from top to bottom. But it's gonna be interesting to see where Dr. Stone goes, because when I started having problems, problems with the story started to show up, was the arc after this, and then it kind of devolved. We'll actually talk about this. I actually have a shout, because we're gonna have a category called like the most disappointing moment of manga and anime, or like
Okay.
or like. I have a shout that the ending of the Dr. Stone manga might be up there for me. I have a shout for that.
I have one. I have a
crazy,
few.
yeah.
That's an interesting one. I have a
Yeah.
that's going to be a fun one
Yeah,
to
that's gonna
do,
be fun.
because I have a lot.
But back to Mob. So Reagan eventually he gets brainwashed as well, and
Yeah.
he completely changes. Like you can tell.
It's like a
immediately.
betrayal. Like,
Yeah.
hey, mom, maybe you should like stop in general
Yeah.
and like leave him alone. And then and he says this with his back turned, and mom is like, oh man,
okay,
oh no,
yeah.
Reagan.
Yeah.
And then he kind of goes off, and then
Yeah.
people welcome him, like, oh, the second leader, he's
Yeah.
the main leader, the original one, he's
the OG,
returned.
yeah.
And then and Dimple is basically giving Mob what he wants.
Yeah, and
which-
Dimple's like, come on, man, now we can rule together. You
Yeah.
know, it's gonna be great.
even Tsubomi is like congratulating him. It's like, hey man,
Yeah.
she, you could have a shot. You know what I mean? And this is all Mob is technically wanted: popularity, friends, and the girl of his dreams.
But he knows it's not real, right?
Yeah, it's not right.
tangible.
And then we get a confrontation and fight between Dimple and all these other Dimples clones.
Yeah.
Made from the tree.
Just a One Punch villain, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, straight up One Punch villain.
Or
If
Dragon
what
Ball
Dimple-
villain, Gold Dimple.
But I mean,
that's so
That's
funny.
what One Punch villains look like. Like, you know.
Yeah, but like the gold
the
transformation.
first villain in One Punch, he was voiced by Chris Sabat, and he had the antennas of Piccolo and the eyes of Piccolo. He was just purple, you know.
Yeah, I know, but it was just funny. But it's like Dragon Ball. Like Gold
Yeah.
Dimple is like hey, it's like Vegeta.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really funny.
They actually added a scene.
They added a lot of
yeah,
fights. They
added a
kind
lot
of stretched
fights,
the fights out, didn't
which
they?
is what I wish they did for My Hero.
Yeah,
I'm
I know,
not
right?
gonna lie. Yeah. I think they stayed a little bit too close from the manga.
Yeah,
to
I feel
My
like
Hero
Mob
for the
Psycho.
fight scenes, that
I
is.
mean, who knows how they feel for both anime? But to me, My Hero feels like their big money maker that they have to do, and Mob Psycho feels like a passion project.
Yeah,
through
Mob
and through.
Psycho is also like Mob Psycho has also been dragging My Hero down because it's like Mob's animation is possibly the best, if not on the same level as Chainsaw Man in terms of animation, because it's so hard to talk about because it's so stylized.
In terms of not
But-
maybe style and quality, but like in what they do with the adaptation, because they add a lot to it.
Yeah, and it's also like you go from watching Mob Psycho this day, and then the next day you go to My Hero, and the animation sometimes just looks kind of mediocre compared to it.
Yeah.
Makes you be like, they could have taken an extra half year for this, you know?
That's how I felt not coming off because I saw Attack on Titan's Mappa's adaptation first before
Yeah.
Jujutsu Kaisen. So I watched Jujutsu Kaisen, and I heard about Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm like, oh, it's great. So Attack on Titan, great. And I'm like, I don't hate this, but like, I wanted more.
You just gotten used to Wit taking like a good 4 or 5 years to work on
and
it.
people kept hyping up Mappa from Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm like, okay, good. We're in good hands. So I'm like, I expected perfect, and I'm like,
Yeah, Mappa.
and then even
yeah.
after watching Jujutsu Kaisen, which was some of the best animation
Yeah.
ever, and I'm like, not even like a sliver of that for Attack on Titan. So I felt like
Yeah.
empty-handed. I'm like, wow, I guess
Mappa went really hard on the 3D CG for Attack on Titan, I will say.
I guess some studios have their favorites, and Bones has Mob Psycho.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
Not gonna lie. I mean, to be honest, like the first 4 seasons of My Hero just looked so crisp and clean. I just don't think it looks like that anymore. And it was really sad because I think Dobby's Dance, the most recent episode, looked amazing, top to bottom, everything. And I was like, you couldn't give this to the main, like, why didn't you put this budget for this episode to the main character of the series? I think,
Or the most pivotal moments.
I think Bones have a favorite in Todoroki. That's my theory.
That's so dumb. That's such a lame excuse.
Well, but why?
If that is the reason,
why is he in the intro? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, why is he so heavily in the intro? Like, it's Bakugo, Deku,
'Cause they
and
sell
Todoroki.
money.
And I'm like, I know, but I'm like, Todoroki isn't, like, he is barely in this arc, dude. But anyway, let's move on from My Hero. We'll talk about our grievances with this season, and our most of it is joy, but our grievances with the season as a whole.
I don't have grievances. I just won't have much to say about good stuff.
Well, we'll talk about that another week. But
Mob Psycho Dimples
yeah.
fighting Mob, really good moment, great fight.
And then Dimple sees his shirt and he's like, "What kind of shirt is that?"
That's a lame shirt.
Yeah.
And then there's
What's up with that lame? What that lame ass?
And there's a nice conversation between Mob and him telling Dimple how he can tell him the truth, or does Dimple tell him that?
No, Mob tells him that.
Yeah, Mob likes that from him, and Dimple gives him a spiel about who Mob is and why he doesn't do what he does, and tells him about Tsubumi. And like, look, it's not going to work out because she is like a really hard-headed person, and you're not the kind of person who would match with her at all.
Yeah.
And like, you won't be able to do that if you do this. And then Mob, and even after all this, Mob tells him, "You're a really good friend.
Yeah.
I like how you can tell me this kind of stuff, and this isn't you."
Yeah.
And it's a really nice moment. And then like once things change for the better, it kind of goes haywire because the clones have started attacking them.
They gotten their own consciousness.
Yeah.
And it really sweet. He's carrying Mob out, but it becomes a it becomes a Dimple arc. Like
Yeah.
Dimple has to fix his mistakes and
defend Mob because
Yeah.
Mob is like completely drained.
Great storytelling. I just love it. It's so
Completely-
good.
He's completely drained, and Dimple
Yeah.
has to defend him. And then when it comes down
Love
to the
it.
final moments, it feels like all has been saved. And
Yeah.
Dimple tells Mob that he'll take care of the rest of it. But we see Dimple sacrifice himself because like the problem is not over yet.
God, and that scene was so good where he was like, "Don't worry, I got it." And then you see all of them looking down on him, like behind him,
Yeah.
and he's like, "It's all good, don't worry."
And then like Mob turns again, and he's like waving, and it's like,
Yeah.
all right, this is sad. Like I don't like
Yeah.
this is, you know what I mean?
And then the end of the episode is really sad as well. The like he says Dimple was a good friend, and he cries, kind of insinuating that.
Yeah,
he's
he wipes
just
his memory
gone.
of what happens, right? Or something
Yeah,
like
he
that?
does. He
Yeah.
does. He wipes everybody's memory of what
Yeah,
happened.
Dimple
Yeah.
levitates the tree out and like basically
Yeah.
just
And it explodes.
explodes
Yeah.
in space and like whatnot. Yeah, really sad episode. And I thought that would be like the majority. I knew they were building for the Psycho Helmet religion to be I thought that would be like the final thing. Well, I didn't think it'd be the final thing, but after the second season, like we
Yeah.
had such a big, obvious bad guy boss at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where could we go? I'm like, the Psycho Helmet religion has to be like like the final thing. You know what I mean?
I liked I liked the direction one went better. In terms of, I think in terms of the build up, it was better because when I thought the same thing as you, and I was like,
Not saying that I wanted it.
yeah.
It just, to me, it felt like
no,
it was going to go
I
in that
felt
direction.
like that too,
Yeah.
and I was like, and you were telling me about this a couple weeks ago when this was happening. You were like, Dimple is the final boss. That's so good and
Yeah.
crazy. And I was like, oh, just you wait. I was like, he's not.
But even then, I was like, before the season started, I'm like, where could the anime go?
Yeah,
Like, what will it do?
because Claw's been defeated.
Yeah.
and that was a big part of the first and second season.
And after this
Yeah.
episode, I forget what happens. Is it the one with the?
This is the
The-
aliens.
Yeah, this is the telepathy club.
This is the one where I was a bit like, like I kind of checked out of these episodes. I'm not gonna lie.
I kind of liked it. I mean, but
I liked it,
but
I,
like I feel you.
but I was it's the calm before the storm. It's just kind of putting a nice little cherry on the bow of the telepathy club and making it like, yeah, the telepathy club had a purpose,
Yeah.
And I really love, I really like, even though I think Tsubomi is like, I really like what they did this season with Tsubomi.
I don't.
And I hate the ship. But I really like the telepathy club girl and Mob. I
Yeah.
think they would make a good couple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah.
She grew on me in terms of her character. She
Yeah.
like had ambitions and like, and then the guy I like what they. I really like.
She's one of the lead characters in this manga. It's in the Reagan side story.
Oh really?
Yeah. Because
Oh,
you
cool.
see her. So, and we'll talk about this in the final episode. So, you know how Reagan is walking up the stairs and he's like, "Yokai Hunter my butt." Like, that guy wasn't even. That's where this story takes place. Is in between the final episodes. And
That's cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's really great.
But we also get a new character / old one. The
Yeah.
guy who left the telepathy club in the beginning, like in the first season. He
Man,
goes
what
to,
a
like, track.
callback, right?
Yeah, he goes to track, and then because they're trying to contact aliens using telepathy.
Yeah.
Using the twins.
And he
that-
was like, my ears.
He first shows up. He's like, "What are you guys doing? This is stupid." Anyway, see ya. And they keep doing it. It's like, "All right, okay, stop.
like, "Stop.
I
Shut
have
up.
powers." Like,
Shut up.
He's like, "I have powers. I'm
Yeah,
lame like
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys." I really like that character.
It must be like a dog, like hearing a dog whistle.
Like
you
a
know? And
high
it's
pitched.
like, okay, well, he's not here. I'm gonna hear it. We gotta play it louder. And the dog's like, stop doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I like it. Like they get to see aliens, which is pretty nice. They interact with them, and then one guy gets kidnapped by one technically, and they treat him like a king. And then he like, "Yo, I gotta go back to Earth," and then he gets dropped off on
Yeah.
Earth like nothing happens. So like, it's pretty much what happens. And then we get big news again to the final arc per se
Sure.
of this story. Tsubomi is moving away, and Mob Psycho has all his plans for like whatever he was gonna do with Tsubomi has gone out the window. He has
Yeah.
to do something. He has to confess to her
I
now.
like how you called him Mob Psycho. Like,
Oh,
that's
wait.
his first and last.
Oh,
name.
sorry. Did I say that?
You went Mob Psycho. And I
Yeah.
went,
My
I
name's
went-
Psycho.
yeah.
Mob Psycho.
Mob Psycho. Yeah. It's
No.
great.
I mean, so Do they ever say psycho, the word psycho, in the show?
Psycho Helmet Religion.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wonder if anyone's called Mob a psycho before.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No. But yeah.
I guess the Mob Psycho was the friends we made along the way.
You truly were the Mob
Mob
Psycho
Psycho.
100.
Yep.
But yeah, Mob has kind of given himself a drive to now confess himself to Sabome. Does Reagan give him advice on this? I forget. Or does Ritsu give him advice on this?
No, I think Ritsu gives him advice on this. I think Reagan tells him that he should do whatever he wants to do. I think he said that you'll be fine. Basically, that's all that Reagan says. But Mob's not working at Reagan's place anymore, is he?
Yeah, he's kind of focusing on school since he's now involved with he's heavily involved with his other curriculars. Like,
yeah, and he's trying. It's his final year, so he's trying to get into all that stuff.
Yeah, he's able to call Tsubumi and to meet him at the school, which is really cool. He calls Tsubumi, and he's all nervous. He walks around the house. I do that too. I don't like taking phone calls, even when I'm with, if I'm.
No,
with
I
someone,
walk around this. We're in my room right now. I walk in and out of the room. Yeah.
Even if I'm calling someone I'm familiar with, I don't like sitting down and talking. I can't do that. I have to walk around. I don't know why. I just get talking over the phone is just weird to me. So I have to
Doesn't Tsubomi also ignore or say no to 50 500?
Oh yeah, because she's moving away. She's getting a bunch of
and the reporter chick's like, Mob, don't go right now.
You'll just be a blur in the blend.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Which is really funny. But she's clearly popular and everyone's making their confession, and Mob needs to make his special, so he calls her up, says, "Hey, I have something important to tell you. Can we meet in the park?" And she's like, "Okay, sure." So it's all building up to this. So he brings a flower. He can't afford any flowers and whatnot. But the G steps up, the flower guy, the flower shop guy, who was in charge of plants and spirits and whatnot, gives him a bouquet of flowers.
Oh, that's who that guy was.
Yeah.
He was the spirits guy. Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Really cool. Yeah,
it's good to see all those claw people integrated into society. You know?
Right.
Like the other two are friggin' gas station workers.
Yeah. I was like, who are these guys? And I was like, oh, what's a certain other character came up?
What was that one line in the dub? It was so funny. He said something like, "Once you've seen a man buy a carton of milk and then immediately throw it away, that changes you, man." Or
I don't remember.
That was so funny.
But I was like,
so
why
good.
are they giving attention to these two guys? I'm like, and I didn't remember who they were. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that guy helps Mob out by giving him a bouquet of flowers. Mob's making his way to the park, and then something happens. He gets isekai'd.
Yeah.
Truck-kun strikes again.
No.
He strikes again.
I didn't understand the isekai reference until Edgar explained it to me.
Yeah.
And I'm just reading comments of people saying, "Truck-kun, no, Truck-kun, you struck again."
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this?
And here's what happens. Isekais tend to coincide with a character named Truck-kun, who always tends to end up sending our main character to another world.
Yeah.
But in this case, Mob just gets a horrible concussion. I thought he died. Well, I didn't think he died. I figured he was.
This was the thing, by the way, when you talked about a couple weeks ago, if you go back when we first talked about Mob Psycho, you talked about how something was spoiled in the trailer, and you said you didn't watch it because of that. It was this, that he got hit by the truck.
Why would they show that then? That's stupid.
I don't think it was that. I don't think it was.
Still,
that.
That's a big thing.
But also the Japanese, they care very little about spoilers and all that stuff, all that junk.
But Mob gets hit, and this causes a wave of emotions, I guess, in terms of him wanting to get to Tsubome, and it
unleashes him, I would say.
Yeah.
It unleashes
kind of like an Iron Giant moment, like a bump, gets.
I guess you could say it unleashes Shigeo Kageyama. I guess you could say that, you know, because I guess you could. I've seen a lot of people say that maybe the story is is kind of like another thing of having multi-personalities. I don't necessarily see it that way. I see what you mean. But I think it's
yes
more
and
about.
No,
I think it's more about accepting yourself. I don't think Mob has multiple personalities, but I think all of us have separate personalities and separate things that we suppress within ourselves.
Yeah, and Mob has had to suppress a majority of his emotions, specifically negative ones, because of the trauma that he's had as a child by hurting Ritsu and his powers and why he doesn't want to use them.
Just a fun fact: this part of the story is the first time when other characters voice the the next time on, like at the end of the credits, like they go next time on Mob Psycho. Like most of the time it's Reagan going next time on Mob Psycho, blah 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 blah. Streaming on our platform, an excellent decision. Oh, I love it so much.
That happens? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, at the end of every episode he goes like next time on Mob Psycho, blah 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 blah. What, pirating on this site? Absurd!
I didn't know that.
It's
That's
so
funny.
good. You should just watch a compilation of it. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But at the end of this one, it's the characters who confront Mob at the end.
Okay.
And that's really great.
First,
So, yeah.
who would have guessed it that confronts Mob? It's Teru.
Yeah.
He's the first on the scene. He's
Man, he gets abused.
He's the official Batman of this town.
Yeah.
Just go oh, there's trouble. I guess I'm off to work. And then
Yeah, I think he is in terms of other than Mob, he's probably is the strongest psychic. In their group,
Yeah.
But I think eventually Ritsu gets there. In this
but he
episode,
gets his ass handed to him.
Yeah.
And is he
I mean, literally.
Is he actually bald, or does he just conveniently get his hair
No,
shaved
he
off?
just gets his hair shaved off every time.
The same time. I'm
You know,
why
'cause
did
he used to have that wig, but it grew back, right? His hair grew back.
Yeah.
And now he got it ripped off.
It's just that particular part. He has hair on the sides, but that his head, the top of his head, always inconveniently gets shaved off. During Mob's fights. So it's like, is he actually bald? Because I feel sorry for the guy.
And this is when the animation was really like, oh wow, this might be some of the best stylized animation I've ever seen.
A walking disaster throughout his hometown.
Yeah.
And stuff, he was destroying it. And then everyone was like, getting evacuated, and Reagan's like, what's going on? So Bumi's just sitting there hearing something in the distance, like, I'll just wait here.
Yeah.
It's all fine.
Well, but she was like, oh, he sounded really nervous, so I should wait, That's what really made me be like, oh, I like Tsubomi.
Only for her to but okay, whatever, we'll get there. And then after Teru gets nailed, Ritsu? No, not Ritsu.
It's the claw boss.
Yeah, there you go.
After
Ritsu. I did not
but
expect
Ritsu,
him to show up.
But Teru, before that he saves all these people. Before Mob kill, and that scene where he's reaching out and stuff, and he has the blood coming from his eyes, and you see the hair being ripped off in his clothes, and he's all butt naked.
I was like, no. Yeah. No.
And that scene where he says, "I am your rival," and he's like, "I won this one," and I was like, "Yeah, you did, Teru." I love Teru so much. He's great.
He's a good friend.
Yeah, he's a really awesome.
The claw boss comes in. I did not. Performing some public service duty thing from jail or something.
Oh yeah,
but it's really cool.
Yeah, Show's dad. I'm trying to find his name.
I did not expect him to show up at all, but it was a kind of not a cameo, but it was a cool remember this guy? His name is
I have no idea. I have no idea what his name is.
Toichiro.
Toichiro,
yeah.
Okay.
Toichiro.
I know his last name is Suzuki. But
Toichiro, and his name is Sho.
Sho, yeah.
Yeah.
I know Sho, yeah.
Toichiro, the claw boss from the second season. Technically first, but we don't see him until the second season.
Yeah. He's probably, I take that back about Terra, he's probably the strongest psychic who could stand up against Mob. And I'm like, if anybody can stand up against him, it's probably him. Yeah. But even when he's like, oh, no. This has
But he probably could have stopped it, but he would have died.
But he would have died in the process.
But I like how he
Because his power is absorbing energy, that's right, yeah.
But I like how he said, I have a family now and I want to be there for that.
Yeah.
And
where Sho goes, Dad. And he looks away, and so many people I've seen react to this are like, what is happening? And I'm like, are you serious? It's the door. He sees the door, and the door is open for him to return. Yeah. And if he chooses to stop Mob here, the door closes forever. So the door is open for him to be to actually be a dad, to actually be that father figure.
Yeah. I like that.
I do too. I think it's brilliant.
And he concedes, and they walk away, and then Ritsu comes up to save his brother.
Awesome moment.
Yeah, cool moment.
Awesome. Ritsu 100% was an amazing.
Yeah.
Ritsu Kageyama 100%. He goes, the reason why I wanted powers was for this moment.
Yeah,
You
to
know?
save his brother,
Yeah.
like, essentially from his own problems because he felt that he was inferior to him, not because he was better than him, but because he felt like he wouldn't be able to help him when he needed it.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I like the relationship between the two brothers.
Yeah.
But it's all for naught because Mob is just like unstoppable. But this is when we see that Mob has quote unquote two personalities.
Yeah.
A version of Mob, who we know as who is normal Mob, and then we have all the suppressed emotions, Shigeru Kageyama.
And he's like, by the end of this, you will be me and stuff, and we see like parts
Pieces of
him
Mob
peeling
coming off.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool.
Really awesome. Just so cool.
And we see Reagan
and Serizawa.
Yeah, making their way.
Or Hanizawa, sorry.
Hanizawa.
No, Serizawa.
Okay, I don't know
I don't know. Teru is Hanizawa, and yes, Teru is Hanizawa, and this guy is Serizawa, Katsuya. Yeah. I thought he would have had a bigger part in this season, but I think he,
I
he
just like
didn't.
him being normal and
Yeah,
helping
yeah,
out,
yeah.
and him being like happy because he wasn't
Yeah.
like that at all.
It just like the first episode, he had such a big part of it that I was like, oh, I thought we were gonna see a lot more of him, but he just wasn't,
I'm fine with that.
No, I'm cool with it too.
But
I just thought that we would.
yeah, Reagan makes his way. I mean, Serizawa can't go any further. And he says, like, we could get killed, or I can't protect you because my power is getting sapped away.
Yeah. Well, but also Reagan tells Serizawa to stay here because if he's gonna tell Mob his secret, and if he tells Serizawa, that could unload a whole bag of worms and stuff like that. So yeah, and this is where the final episode begins, right?
Reagan makes his way to Mob.
Yeah.
And nearly dies
multiple times.
Yeah, I don't know when he got smashed.
When he got hit with the rock, I was like, "Oh, he's dead."
When he got smashed into the cement and he created a hole, I'm like, "All right, you should be dead." I was like, I don't know. Yeah, he doesn't have any powers whatsoever.
Yeah.
But he's smart by always protecting his head by putting his hands behind his head. But then like the cool moment, the final, the first opening kicks in.
The you say run moment. Yeah. Totally.
I like it, but I don't think the song works for the moment. Sometimes
I think it works perfectly.
Playing the opening, I mean, it's a good moment. I just feel like some openings don't hit.
Yeah.
I feel like Black Clover does it. I feel like the first opening works so perfectly for the anime.
Works very good for One Piece as well. But I think for this moment it was perfect, especially for when it started playing and I remembered what happened in the manga. I went, oh my god, this is perfect. Now, I didn't watch it like the normies where they were like, this is the best opening. And I'm like, you're wrong. It's not the best opening. Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh god, they made me so annoyed, bro. When they were like, I don't know if the second one is better than the first. And I was like, shut up. I was like, you shut.
And then the third one, they're like, yeah, the first one's still better. I'm like,
shut your damn mouth.
Okay.
I'm like, you shut your damn mouth.
I agree with you there. But
you shut your mouth. That is blasphemy.
I did like it. It was such a nice callback to it.
But the moment that I really liked was when he reached for Mob, and it was the moment where it goes Mob, and then it was like oh, and then he slams to the ground. I just think it worked with the overall thing, where he was trying to reach. He was trying to reach Mob, and the numbers are counting towards 100% Mob, and he's trying to reach it there. And yeah, he becomes a superhero for and he's doing these running, and he goes, "Oh, I've been doing my workout routine to keep up with you."
Yeah, that's a perfect. That's a good excuse.
God,
that makes sense.
I love it.
Not exactly Saitama's workout, but I guess I'll buy it.
Yeah, of course not.
But yeah, he reaches him.
I was talking about the voice actor earlier. I watched it behind the scenes with him. And he wore a suit to it, and as he was performing it, as Reagan lost clothes, he took off the clothes and was ripping it off. It was really I really enjoyed it. It was like a little mini performance in the VO booth. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was
That's
really
cool.
nice.
But Reagan reaches Mob, and it's basically he's getting he grabs his foot and the mob's still walking away.
Well, the other mob is like he's a phony, like Mob knows his secret, right? He's just not. He just doesn't say it,
Yeah.
And the other mob is like he's a phony. He doesn't do anything for you, But then
Reagan gets in front of him.
Yeah. And he barely stands up, but we realize that it's because he's been controlled by Dimple. How he was.
I didn't see.
Yeah.
And I like. But
I didn't see it either.
But then again, I'm like, how? I guess how? I thought it was like because the way Dimple said it, I thought it was like a figment of imagination that. I literally don't know how it happened or how it happened, but
it could have been better explained, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, I would prefer if Dimple was dead, if he stayed dead." But I was like, I just don't think that's one storytelling. Like, I just don't think he's interested.
Yeah, it's not a storytelling, but like you got to explain why.
Yeah,
he
of
came
course.
Back. Like,
I mean, he explains it very quick. He explains like it's because of the explosion of power, and it was so much power that it drew him into it and refigmented him. Yeah. But I mean that's you're right. It's a cheap explanation, but I can take a cheap explanation if it gives me an awesome moment like that. Yeah.
It was nice seeing him, and Reagan was able to hold his own thanks to him, and then he's like, "I got this, man." And like, okay, like, and then Dimple like kind of floats away.
Yeah.
But then the confession happens, and it feels like it's been building all to this because even though we know Reagan's a good character, and Mob can see that, and even though Reagan was still like lying in a sense, that relationship would always be kind of grayish.
Yeah.
Because Reagan was still hiding that from Mob, and it kind of all built to this. Moment of Reagan telling him who he was.
The visuals alone with Reagan being like, because all the time we see him, he's super suave, right? We know because we hear his internal monologue, because he's like, what? Or he's like, no, when things are going wrong. But on the face value, what we see from him is very suave. He's always wearing a suit, right? But he's telling Mob like, and I think this is why it really hit home for me, was because it was like nobody really knows what they're doing. We can kind of just like act like we're in control of all these scenarios. Mm-hmm. But when Reagan goes like, this is who I really am, and he's all completely, suit is off, completely ripped up, completely in tatters. Yeah. And we've seen how Reagan was when he was alone without Mob, when Mob like left him in season 2. It just goes to show who he was really suppressing as well. Yeah. And it's a good dichotomy between Reagan and Mob about suppressing who you are below. And now that Reagan is able to show his inner self with Mob is able to accept himself as a complete whole human being. And that moment of 100% Shigeo Kageyama, I was like, yes, brilliant. But yeah, and like showing him like cry really ugly, like with the snot coming down. And
that took me out of the moment. Yeah. I'm like, oh man.
Oh, I love it.
I don't know. But it was still a nice moment. But I was like, oh, come on. We almost had a full moment there. But yeah, they not concede. They couldn't side. No, they kind of like they accept each other, and it's a real nice moment. And then Mob eventually, like, he is now like back, awake fully. And Mob's able to accept himself, and so Mob is able to accept Reagan for who they are. It's a really good, nice moment.
Something really interesting also is like Reagan tells Dimple for Mob to go alone, when most of the time we see Reagan go, Dimple go with him, right? Yeah. We've seen that in previous seasons where he's gone, follow him, Dimple, make sure he's okay, But in this one, he's like, no, it's got to be him alone.
Yeah. So again, we know why, but like some reason Sabome's still there waiting for him. Yeah. And even Reagan and Dimple were like, I'd be surprised if she was there. She probably won't be. And then he comes back fairly quickly, and then Mob's like, I got rejected. I'm like, it would have been super cheesy, and I probably still wouldn't have liked it if they ended up together, because I'm like, no way. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, Sabumi, you suck. We just wasted our time with you, whatever. But I did love how Mob was able to get over it really quickly in a way. Yeah. I mean, he was still really sad, albeit. But, in the end, old Mob probably would have destroyed the earth. Like, the same thing would have happened, but, like, differently then. Mob wouldn't have that many friends to help him, and Reagan wouldn't have the courage to properly stop it. So all this was able to resolve properly because of all the friends that he made, and Reagan confessed who he was. Which is nice.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And Mob was able to move forward because of that, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
But Tsubumi, you suck.
I completely disagree with you. I think Tsubomi, like, genuinely, it makes sense. Like, I wouldn't want to start a relationship with somebody in my same town if I was moving, you know.
No, I know that. I mean, I'm not finding any logic. I just don't like her.
Oh, I see.
And like, there's not much to like because there's like literally nothing to her character.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I don't blame her for like making a choice. I would have still been mad if she chose him because like, you don't know him anymore. You're moving away. Why would you date him or whatever?
Well, but she, she does see him as a friend. Like, she just says, "I've never seen you in that way before." Yeah. And then obviously we see later on that they've been talking, and now that Mob has put that in her head, she might be like, "Oh, okay, like maybe I should start seeing."
Spell you have no chance, Mob. You better do better than that. Like,
come on, Mob.
Mob.
Another thing that we missed that I really, I was talking about fraud and the value of it earlier, is what I really like with Reagan, like just the utter of one's writing style, the utter like the opposites and the opposites of one thing being true and then the other thing also being true, right? We're taught all our lives that lies are bad. But then Reagan also says, but my lies are the reason why I met you. And it's like, just that for me is just like, man,
I should lie more.
Yeah,
exactly. No, that's not the takeaway.
That's not the idea, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of like, Reagan also lying to Mob also helped him control his powers, Yeah. So I just think it's like there is value in that sometimes, as long as the truth eventually comes. But I'm just, man, this show is just the show and the meaning behind it. Like, you can take it in multiple different ways, and I think just for that alone, it's just a testament to one's writing style, and then it's brilliant.
I liked it. It was a nice conclusion, and we see Mob doing well in his life in school. Telepathy club's going great.
On only minor time jump. Let's go. Minor time
jump.
jump.
I think not even like a month or something, right?
No, it's not even like a month.
It's like a few days, or something like that.
Well, I think it's a couple of weeks.
It's a new year because the old body improvement clubs the old members are no longer there.
Yeah. It's Mom's in his final year, but he's Mom's actually looks bigger in the manga. Like, I saw him
swole
in the
Bob.
He looks a little bit more swole in the manga.
Yeah, he's the vice president of the Body Improvement Club.
Yeah.
Really nice. And
I love that he's not the president also.
Because like there's one guy who's still there from the old one, and Mob's still not experienced.
Yeah.
But I like that. And there's more members there now. And the chick from Telepathy Club also works with Reagan. Really cool.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah.
Filling up Mob's spot. Oh, God. Isn't that just a perfect end for her character?
Yeah.
It's so good.
All of it's just really great. Mob's in touch with Tsubumi.
Dimple's still hanging out with Reagan.
Dimple's like officially alive. I thought he was gonna disappear because he says I can barely stay alive. I'm like, oh no, is he gonna disappear again?
Yeah.
But he's gonna stick around, which is nice.
Yeah.
And they all celebrate Reagan's birthday, which is really nice, really touching.
Really nice because the last season
birthday,
the last birthday
touched on how sad his birthdays are, how he spends it with like basically no one and strangers who aren't really his friends.
Well, and he talks to those people. Like, I really like that scene in the second where he talks to these people and he's telling them they're being scammed.
Yeah.
But I think, it's just really nice. And Reagan's and the girl for the telepathy club is like, "Oh, are you crying, Reagan?" And he's like, "No, I'm not crying." But something that a lot of people have seen and that has gone unnoticed is because Reagan earlier in the episode, he says, "I'm not your master. I'm just me, and this is who I am." And he's like, "But that's okay." But then in this episode, Mob still calls him Master Reagan. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, oh, God, such a good, subtle ending, like, for that as a whole. And then, of course, just like when Mob and Reagan first met, he drops a food. But Mob doesn't use his powers. He lets Reagan fall into the cake.
Well, he catches it, but like
Yeah.
but Reagan falls into the
Yeah.
cake. I mean, he stops it from falling on the ground, but Reagan like
Yep.
splats in it. Really funny. And then everyone ends up laughing in the frame. The last shot of the anime is of Mob laughing with
Yeah.
everyone, which is really nice.
Which is great, especially since like the first couple of episodes he shows barely any emotion.
yeah,
Right.
good end to the series.
Yeah.
Is this your favorite show from this season? Without spoiling other thoughts on the shows, is this your favorite show from the fall anime season?
Yes, but that's only yes, but if
Oh, let me start easier. Is this your favorite season from the other seasons? Do you like this one the best?
that's a good question.
For me, no. This isn't
Yeah.
a bad season. I like it.
For me,
but
for
I
me,
like the
yeah.
second one just a bit
Sure.
more. A bit more. The small moments worked better for me, and it didn't feel like filler when they did. And even though I felt the most emotion in the third season, specifically with Reagan's confession,
Yeah.
that was the most. I teared up. That was the most emotion.
I teared up.
That
too,
was the
yeah.
most emotion I felt with all of Mob Psycho. I've never had that before.
That's the most emotion I think I've felt for the entire fall season, to be honest.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, the second one hit more with me.
Sure.
Not because there was more action or anything, but
There was a lot more, I would say, interesting subplots in the second
Yeah.
season.
and it felt
know.
more coherent.
Yeah.
As jumbled as Mob Psycho could be.
Yeah.
It felt more coherent, and even though I didn't know where it's going, it all flowed better,
The
more
thing-
well with it.
Yeah, I actually see the third season very similar to the end of the final season of the Clone Wars. Because, so the first part of the final season of the Clone Wars is about the Bad Batch, and it's these 3 just awesome episodes that just really kick butt. And then there's about 4 episodes about, Ahsoka, with these gang cartel women, and it's really bad, really bad episodes. It kind of makes me think that Disney were like, you have to put these episodes in, otherwise you're not able to air this. And then the final 5 episodes is some of the greatest television I've ever seen. But I think the reason why I think the third season is the best is because I think the finale of season 1, in terms of the buildup of that, I think that was the moment where I was most hype in Mob Psycho, was when 100% Reagan Arataka, when he starts breaking the swords and stuff, and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
and you're like, what?
In the
You
first
know?
season, yeah.
But the second season, I think, overall, overall is the best, it's the greatest showing of Mob Psycho, right? But I think the thing that season 3 has over all the other seasons is that the first part with Dimple and the last part with Mob, I think if you stick that at the end of both of the seasons, it's a good climactic finale, because Mob is very similar to Avatar and Cowboy Bebop in how it's episodic, but at the end of seasons it has a big arc, and usually it has to do with Claw. I think if you stick that at the end of every single one of the seasons, it's still going to get that, release. I just think this season had 2 of them, and they were both done really, really well. But yeah, I think this season suffered a little bit of no Reagan syndrome, right? Because because Mob moves away or stops working with Reagan, and it becomes more about the other side characters, Teru, Dimple, the Telepathy Club, but I don't think that's because Reagan gets the best moment of the season, right? And it's all leading up to that.
To me, what didn't work was, the slow moments where Mob was by himself and he dealt with the stuff specifically with the Telepathy Club. As much as I liked that and it was fun,
Sure.
I felt like there were no stakes in the final arc. Yes, Mob was causing havoc, but
Sure.
I didn't get a real sense that he could hurt someone.
But I think
even
that
though
just
they
has to
kept
go.
saying it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think that has to go with I just think that's one storytelling. I don't
Doesn't mean it's good.
I don't feel
the-
that doesn't mean it's good. No, but also I don't feel any stakes in One Punch Man. I'm gonna be
sure,
honest.
but I
no,
that I was
Edgar,
still
no.
entertained.
I don't feel any stakes in One Punch Man. There's no way.
For other characters, yeah.
No, I don't feel any stakes in One Punch
For
Man.
other characters, not Saitama.
No, I don't feel at any moment when I watched One Punch Man, I was like, there is no stakes for any of these characters. But that doesn't
sure,
mean...
but I'm not drawn in, is what I'm saying. There are no stakes, so like it's supposed to like draw you into the emotion because Mob could hurt someone, and Mob's going through this clearly emotional state. But
I think
I wasn't like that's what's supposed to keep me engaged.
Yeah,
and One Punch Man keeps you engaged for various reasons.
I don't think that's the reason why you're supposed to be engaged, is that Mob could hurt people. I think that's only like, because if you really think about it, like if you think about it really hard, Mob has killed somebody, right? Because if you like look at the havoc at the end, Mob has killed somebody. But I think it's very similar to like Mob Psycho. Like in One Punch Man, like in the first season, like in the first 2 episodes, like that gigantic monster, like he wipes out all of like City Z or something, and you're like, wow, that's millions of people dead.
Yeah.
And if you think about it too hard, you're like, geez.
I guess here's a good analogy, and I said it before, and this is why Iron Giant does this better, in the sense Iron Giant, the finale, I don't know if you remember this. Sure. Iron Giant has a bump on his head. He's all nice and whatever. He gets it unbumped when he gets attacked by the military, and he wreaks havoc. He is a walking nuclear missile in a sense. He could hurt people. He's not supposed to be like this. Yeah. We've never seen him like this. And that's why it kind of didn't work in the finale, because we've seen Mob Psycho lose control before. Like I said Mob Psycho. We've seen Shigeo Kageyama. We've seen Mob lose control before. Yeah. Not like this, of course. But we've seen that happen and how people deal with it one way or another. Whether they lose, obviously, or whether he just finds a way to luckily
but I think that was all the other emotions that have come out. I always think Shigeo has always had a somewhat control. I think the only time where we've ever seen this before was that's another thing that season 2, probably the best arc in my opinion in Mob, is the dream sequence one where he gets trapped in the dream world. Yeah. And he has that just awesome, the best animation in Mob is probably that one, where he has where he's in that imaginary world fighting that ghost who controlled that girl, and then at the end of it, like, you see the spirit of Mob and he goes, oh, so this is who you really are, huh? I think that's the only time we've ever seen that. And it was teased about that it already had awakened because Mob hurt those people earlier, and that's why he went into Reagan's office and so on and so forth.
What I'm trying to say is that, like, in Iron Giant, you're worried about the Iron Giant hurting people, but there's military men with an actual nuclear missile that could kill the giant and hurt people. So you're also worried about the Iron Giant. With Mob, he's safe. He's fine. He's not gonna.
But that's not the point of the story, though. Like, Mob's safety.
It's not the point of the story, but it's supposed to make me care and engage with the final act.
I don't like. I see your point, but if you're still at this point and you're thinking, oh, these people's lives could be in danger,
not die, but I'm supposed to be worried about Mob is what it wants me to be, and I wasn't.
I think you're supposed to be worried about Mob's character and where it goes, how it ends. But I do agree with you. Like, Mob is going to get.
The only time I actually felt worried about Mob's character is when we thought his parents died.
Yeah.
Because we thought that it could take a turn. Again, it's not how one writes.
Yeah.
I know, because it's not going to get that dark.
Yeah.
But like, I something like that should have happened in a sense. I don't know what, and maybe I'm asking too much from one. But like, I felt. I knew at the end of the day, and I feel this with a lot of stories, but like, even when I know how it's supposed to end, how it's gonna end, I hope there was something in the end that didn't make me feel like that, like something wrong could happen.
Sure.
And I knew Mob was going to be safe in the end, and I don't know. I don't know. I didn't feel engaged with it.
I just don't think it's that. I just don't think that's the story. I'm
not saying it's a story. I'm saying why I didn't feel engaged with it.
I see what you mean.
Like, why should I care?
No, I completely see what you mean, but I don't. I mean, I don't think that's why you should care.
Why did you care? I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious.
Well, it's difficult to say.
Because we've seen Mob lose control before.
It's difficult to say because I knew what was going to happen when watching this, and it's like the dichotomy of reading a manga and it being only my second reading experience with the manga, it's difficult to say what emotions were going through me at that time.
Well, let's say even so never mind.
But the reason I just had a very different experience when I got shown this story. But the thing that I care about is the thing that draws me into one's writing, and the reason why I'm like, man, this guy, his storytelling is unmatched in his unique way of storytelling. But the thing that pulls me in is, how is Mob going to get out of this predicament that he's in? I know he's not going to hurt anybody. I know nobody's going to die, right? And I knew Dimple was coming back. So that's not like
oh yeah, because you read it. I was like, what?
Because I read it.
I was like, how?
You know? You were like, how?
Are
Yeah.
you God? Like, how can you possibly know he's dead? No, just kidding.
But what interests me is, how is this story, or how is this moment in this story going to, because we've seen this all throughout the story, is that it's all about Mob taking a step forward, and how Mob taking a step forward allows other characters to take steps forward. When the final battle comes, how, and especially since it's the final arc, how are these characters going to find and we know all about the percentages, how are these characters going to find the 100% version of themselves? And when we get to that point at the end, with Reagan and with Mob, and how at the end they together find that 100% version. And even at the end, and even though you found yourself in 100, like, to be honest, had no idea Tsubomi was going to reject him. When he came back, I went, what? You know, I went, excuse me? I thought something else, I just don't know what else I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
But when he comes back, the fact that he found 100% of himself, and we know that he's 100% of himself, and he still gets rejected, and then he has to cry about it, is just like, that's why I care. That's why, like, that moment is when I'm like, oh man, like, this story transcends beyond, I don't want to say beyond lives, you know, because you don't want to say emotions transcends beyond, you know, human lives. But
well, emotions, but not Mob Psycho.
Right, not in Mob Psycho. but that's what the show tells me, and that's what the show is about. It's about how are these people stepping forward to become the complete version of themselves.
I liked where I ended up. I wish I was just on there fully 100%. Like
sure,
you.
I get you.
So maybe it's just a matter of, like, it hit.
Yeah.
Better. It hit with you more than it did with me.
Sure.
Even a show can be in 10 out of 10, and some people, it's just not their thing.
Yeah. Totally.
But I liked it nonetheless. Like I said, I still prefer the second season overall. This was still a great conclusion to the series. I didn't know how they're gonna end it. I thought we were talking about.
What would you rate the season out of 10?
8.5.
8.5. Okay.
I gave the second season a 9, and the first one a 9 too.
Good.
But.
They're all 10 out of 10s for me, and that's that's not me being like, oh, it's a 10 out of 10 because I love it. Like, My Hero is a 10 out of 10 because I love it, but as a story wise, it's like an 8 or a 7.5. But Mob Psycho for me, story top to bottom, is a 10 out of 10. And
do you love it though?
I think what was it?
Do you love it though?
Oh, I love Mob
Psycho.
So
it doesn't count.
Yeah, no, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. Because I love Attack on Titan 2, and that's a 10 out of 10 as well.
Well, that's a fact. I mean, Ben, what are you going to talk
yes,
what are you going to do about that?
But I just think, it's just fascinating. And now that's over, now I have the opportunity to read more of one's work in One Punch Man. And I'm interested to see what could come out of Saitama's character as well.
Yeah, it's so weird. I know for a fact that Mob Psycho has better writing than One Punch Man.
I don't know.
It's just that's what I expect all of that in Mob Psycho to keep me invested. Sure. And one could, like, not try at all with One Punch Man. And I'm like, it's the art. It's not the art that carries. It's just that that's all it's asking for. And if you give me that, then I'm good. And you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just weird. It's like, I know Mob Psycho has better writing, and I feel so about it, even though that's all it is, and it gives me that. But in One Punch Man, I just feel it more with what it gets. I don't know. It's weird. But I am excited for you to start that journey, One Punch Man.
Yeah.
It is a great series, and I'm really interested. I need to read back on it. I always forget one writes it. So maybe I just gloss over. Maybe when the writing is good, I just gloss over it.
Yeah.
So I would like probably when you start it again, I'll probably start from that point and move forward along with you.
I would say definitely One Punch is definitely more of like a gag manga than Mob Psycho is.
It literally is.
But, you know.
It's like it's overpowered guy is bored with using his powers and kind of doesn't want to do it in a sense. So, but they go in different directions.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. And
because Saitama doesn't shy away from using his powers, you know.
Oh
like
no,
Mob
yeah.
does.
Yeah.
I think it's just, you know, Mob Psycho is such a good story about finding yourself, and it's told in a perfect place, in my opinion, of a perfect time, because middle school and high school is all about finding yourself. Hell, me and Edgar are still trying to find ourselves right now.
Yeah, bro.
You know,
I think I just barely a 1% found myself.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
even then, but you know what I mean? That's life. And I like
Exactly.
the stories about finding out who you want to be.
So this is, I mean, a little spoiler, but this is my pick for this year in terms of like the story overall. But do I think
year?
I think so, but like I said, I still haven't watched the final episode of Chainsaw Man, so that could change my opinion. But I think Chainsaw Man, the thing with Chainsaw Man is they haven't gotten to that point where
I think I think the better half of Chainsaw Man is
yet to come.
What you see in this 12 episodes is Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
But when someone asks me why is Chainsaw Man good, I point to that part of the story because
That's what I'm
that's when
saying.
it like. Oh my god!
That's what I'm saying.
And not just in terms of like, oh, more fights. Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Or, oh, it's so fast paced. It's already fast paced. They
Yeah.
go at a wicked fast pace when they're adapting the manga.
Yeah,
They're-
no, totally. I mean, sometimes they're going fairly slow.
5.5 volumes in 12 episodes.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's like
pretty
I
good.
think My Hero did 3 volumes.
3 volumes
in
yeah.
12 episodes.
Yeah,
So it goes
totally.
pretty fast. So it's your favorite anime of the fall anime season, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And it might be your favorite overall in 2022?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
again, nothing's set in stone because you still have stuff to finish.
Still have stuff to finish.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to get a vibe.
I think the reason why, because of that, like I don't think it's the best thing ever. No, and I might agree with you that the second season might be a little bit better. But the thing is that all these stories in 2022, they're all just starting, right? Like they're all just starting out, and so we haven't really gotten a payoff to a lot of that stuff yet. Whereas this, it's the conclusion of stories, and for a manga to end in the way that it did, to end without a ginormous time jump, without, with all the characters.
That's a win in my book. Not doing
that's what I'm saying. Here are the manga Monday
and
show.
then 10 years ago, 10 years from now, Tsubomi and Mob marry.
That's what
hey,
I'm saying.
Remember when we did this, like, or something like that?
Tsubomi is like, Mob, dinner's ready. Like, come on, like that would have happened in another manga.
I remember when Reagan died. Oh man, that's so sad.
That's so sad. Like, Mob goes to visit his grave. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or like, it'd be worse if Dimple didn't come back in the last
Yeah.
episode, and then 10 years later, hey, remember when Dimple came
Dimple
back all of a
died?
sudden,
Oh, man.
and we're like, what? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Bruh.
So I think that it is. I think that it is great. I don't think it's the best. Like in terms of like ending a series, I still think if you're talking about endings overall, I think Fire Force still has a beat of things we've gotten this year.
Okay.
In terms of manga and anime, but I think next year is going to be much more of a, I don't know, with Shibuya, with part 2 of Chainsaw Man, with season 2 of Vinland Saga.
Does part 2 of Chainsaw Man even come out next year?
We don't know.
Yeah,
I guess you're right.
Yeah, we do not know.
Yeah, we don't know.
I
guess
hope,
you're right.
in a sense, I don't know.
And then if they change the ending of Attack on Titan to a way that that Isayama has conducted and thought of, if they change it to a way that he has decided this will be a better ending,
dude,
and then it is.
A lot of this new year, 2023, is gonna be like I don't know, man. Hell's Paradise, Vinland Saga, all of Mappa. Like, I don't know, man.
I'm scared.
I don't know.
like, yeah, I totally agree with
yeah,
you.
but sum up, Mob Psycho 3, go check it out.
Yeah.
I always recommend it to people. It's such an underrated
Yeah.
series. It's probably the most prestigious underrated series of all
Yes.
shonen.
Agree.
Agree. In terms of like, it's so good, how have you not heard it yet.
Yeah. It's,
but I
it's
feel like
it's becoming a cult classic. Though.
I feel like it's
getting
there.
But also I want to touch up on a couple weeks ago we talked about the whole like controversy with the dub and all of that stuff. Edgar, you watched the dub. What did you think about it?
I thought it was great.
I thought it was great.
I thought Jason
Liebrecht.
Yeah, he did a really good job. It kind of felt off in moments, but he really made it his own character. It's still very upsetting that Kyle couldn't return for his role. But that's all here and there.
But everybody else pretty much returned.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And
Dimple,
Reagan was my favorite.
Reagan,
I said if Reagan's not in it, I'm not watching it.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
that's
same
what
thing.
I said,
Same could have been said for Mob, and if you feel that way, I mean, I respect that 100%.
This is the first season I watched the sub. I watched some of the episodes in sub, but then I always came back for the dub because like you said, Reagan's voice actor is just like, man,
he's a treat.
He is, yeah, he is amazing. Yeah.
Dub was really good. Props to all the actors.
Yeah.
Small and minor. The one that impressed me, like, this guy sounds good. The guy from the tennis, the one who has telepathy, the guy who's like, oh, I'm back. And
oh yeah, he was a
sucks.
good.
I liked
actor,
him.
yeah.
I just liked his voice, and he was really good. And I kind of like how like the head of the telepathy club, the girl character.
Yeah.
How she kind of sounds like a middle-aged woman, but it kind of works. You know what I mean?
It works
For a middle school girl, because she's kind of like bossy and stuck up, but like
I would
in
definitely
charge.
say the Mob Psycho dub has definitely, which is why we were so shocked when Kyle couldn't come back.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely been one of the greatest dubs of all time.
It's a really good one.
It's a real disappear. It's one of my favorite moments in all dubbing ever. It's so funny. But yeah, it's great. I mean, like just this show has so many iconic moments and characters. Like I will always say when I'm working out, body improvement, fight, fight. You know, like we didn't even talk about when they fought against Mob. That was a good moment.
Oh yeah, barely.
Barely.
Oh, not even a fight.
Not even a fight. They got screwed. Yeah, they got messed up. But but yeah, it was really. Man, it was just a fun series. I'm excited to see more reaction channels react to this because I think Blind Wave, they haven't reacted to it.
Oh yeah,
which is really weird because you think that they would jump on it. I just think that
I don't know how did they rate. I wonder where they rated it in their tier list. Did
they rated it as an A, an S, or an
Usually
A.
one of those things. Is it a thing that they have to?
They
vote
think
for?
Dr. Stone is like the best thing on the planet. By the way,
it's so funny. I mean, the dub. I mean, the anime is good in general, but I think the dub carries the comedy in that.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
Yeah, they rated Vinland Saga like a C, and I'm like, it's because you watched the
dub. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
It really affects it.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, that was a really good review, and I really like the conversation we had. I kind of like it when we don't agree sometimes. It makes it makes the conversation not bland, and if we agree with everything.
I'm interested to see what you think is the best. I have an idea of what you think is the best, but we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, best of the fall and best of the year. We'll get on with you with more of that.
Yeah.
Again, I can't say for sure, but maybe next week we'll be able to do our Manga Monday Show Anime Award of 2022.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Or the following, one way or another. It depends on how things goes. But
the way that you'll know is you'll see a video with a very concerned face of mine going, things are changing. And it's going to be clickbaitable, and you're going to be clickbaited.
All right, we have an announcement, and it's you looking like serious, like you're about to end the channel.
Like things are ending or something like. You've seen this stuff. Like
this is not good.
Or it'll just be titled, "I'm sorry."
I'm sorry in lowercase .
Just kidding. You've been clickbaited.
And you start the video like.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to start this video.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god.
I think you get a lot of dislikes if you started off like
definitely.
that.
If we ever have to make a video like that, we failed, by the way. I'm never making
I wonder what it could possibly be.
Yeah, I have no clue. But yeah.
It's like after we visit Japan and like, oh no. Like
oh yeah, oh god. I'm sorry. We should make one like a comedy one.
Like a parody?
Like a parody one where it's like, I'm sorry.
The goal of my content is
the goal of my content is this.
Like
and in my recent Black Clover review, I said the series is bad. Now hold on.
I said My Hero Academia was the best in all of fiction ever.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be so fun. But yeah.
Yeah. We have next. What is the next series that we have to review, other than all of our years?
Chainsaw Man, I'd probably say.
Chainsaw Man, and then it'd probably be Spy Family.
Probably Spy Family. Yeah. Spy Family finale was great.
I need to catch up on that. I'm surprised you caught up to that before I did.
Spy Family finale was great. I missed a couple of episodes in between, so I need to catch up there. But the finale was really great.
You just watched the final episode before the other one?
No, I watched the last 2 episodes because Asal was streaming it.
Oh,
and
okay,
then,
I see.
And then I watched it with him, and then I watched the last 2, and those were really great.
Okay.
Really great series.
Yeah. So Chainsaw Man next, and then Spy Family.
Yeah.
And then we gotta wait for the other ones to finish.
The award I'm really excited for is our personal favorite. So like we're gonna have an award where it's like, what's the best thing you read this year, Edgar? What's the best thing you've watched this year? The best new thing. So it's gonna be. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I mean, I already know what my picks are for that, but we'll
excited.
Yeah,
really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I like hearing about what our favorites are, and you'll get more of that on the Manga Monday show next week.
Yeah.
We'll be there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be there.
Yeah, and that's how I'm gonna end the podcast because
Okay.
I'm awful with beginnings and endings.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
No, just
Yeah.
kidding, just kidding. The podcast is
Bonus edition.
Bonus edition. Yes. I completely forgot. Edgar, it was Christmas earlier.
Yeah.
You already gave me a very, very expensive present for my birthday, and I missed your birthday. I didn't miss it.
I still
but,
feel like I want to give you something, maybe small.
No, don't. He gave me a really expensive Haikyuu shirt.
Jersey,
a jersey. Yes,
Yeah.
it was like pristine. I was going to get him a jersey of the Japanese national team. However, because it's Blue Lock inspired. However, it costs $135.
Yeah, normal jersey is not that cheap.
So yeah. So first, let's start with this because this is the only present that is not manga related.
Okay, sick. Let's do this. Hey, what is this thing?
It is a Vista Score. Hold on, I should probably record
Vistascope.
I should probably record you opening this.
Vistascope, the story of the Vistascope. Oh, so you like build it?
Yeah.
Is it an actual camera though? It doesn't actually record, does it?
No, it actually records film.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yeah, it actually takes film and you can display it. Yes.
Jesus Christ. Thank
it's
you.
really good.
But it's also like a puzzle, right though?
Yeah, it's also like a puzzle.
Bruh, I love building stuff. That's why I like building furniture. It's like high stake Legos.
Yeah, totally.
Dude, thanks.
Okay,
man.
3, 2, 1. I'm recording. Yeah, I'm
Hey,
recording.
look at that.
Look at that. It looks
Ben got
really
me
cool.
the thing.
Yeah,
I like
very
free
cool.
things.
Yeah, free things
Really
are great.
cool.
Free
Yeah.
things are awesome. Good.
Vitascope. I like filmmaking. I like movies. Well, I'm gonna get back into filmmaking, but
Yeah.
I love movies. So.
Awesome. Don't open it yet. I'm gonna record you opening this one.
Alrighty, I'm
Okay.
scared.
All right. Open one at a time. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna grab one.
All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Recording.
No, my God, Ben, what? I actually kind of don't
it's
like
Edgar's favorite manga.
No, I actually really don't like it. Oh,
It's
my
Edgar's
God.
favorite manga. Look, it's the Rent a Girlfriend manga.
Rent a Girlfriend, yay!
Yeah, it's Edgar's favorite thing.
I kind of dropped season 2, but I guess I have to finish it now because
Yay.
I have the manga.
Woo, the manga. All right.
I'm
what
kind
other
of
manga
dreading
do
the
you
second
get?
one now.
Okay.
I need to feel it. Hold on. It's a regular one. It could be anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's go open it. Hey, Dan.
Dan to Dan.
You don't have this yet, do you?
I do. It's,
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it's up there.
Dan to
but yeah.
Dan.
I read the first volume. Very good. You should definitely get into it. It's very good.
Nice. Didn't
Yeah.
Alec recommend it to us?
Yes, Alec recommended it. He said it's very, very, very good.
All right.
so
Thank you,
that's-
Ben.
no
Yeah,
problem.
thank you.
That's gonna be. Like,
I don't know how I feel about the middle one.
Yeah. That's gonna be like
the Rent a Girlfriend.
Yeah, Dan to Dan is like one of those new age mangas or animes coming along with Kaiju number 8 and all that stuff. So yeah,
Sick.
I hope you like the presents, Edgar. And now for real this time.
I really do, yeah.
Good. Now for real this time, we'll catch you on the next Manga Monday.
Ben, I actually got you something that's outside.
Oh, it is?
No, I'm just kidding.
A
I
new
didn't.
car.
No, God,
Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye.